What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 107 for your Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, joined by the one and the only, and every time he looks at the Mets play recently, he says, gross. I'm a fan of this team. I don't believe it. The Solomons, what's going on, brother?
Not tonight.
No, you can beat me all you want, bro. I don't give a shit.
No. But look, I mean, we made history tonight because Pete Alonso has now hit 253 home runs in a single season, which is more than any New York Met in history.
Really? How many does Mike Piazza have?
I don't know. I don't remember the number Piazza has, but he just passed Darryl Strawberry.
Huh?
Strawberry was my favorite player as a kid growing up. And he had the record. It goes all the way back to May of 1988. So
Wow.
that record has fallen. And the polar bear is now number one. So whatever happens tonight, it's a good night because we made history.
There you go. Pete Alonso's a good player.
He's a great player, yeah.
I had no problem with Mike Piazza either. He was a Met, but I always loved Piazza. I don't know. I had a lot of rookie cards when I was growing up. Mike Piazza, lots of rookie cards.
Well, I mean, he was well liked here in New York, and then of course, the first game after 9/11, that home run is legendary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I never had a problem with Piazza, but good for the Mets. They need some good news. We haven't had a lot of good news.
How many games out of first place do you know? 10, 11? Are you close to where I am?
Well, no, we're actually quite a bit more over 500 than you are.
Okay.
So, yeah, somehow I don't know how. I think what is it, 63 and 55? I think is our record. I have no idea how we're even at that record. The way that they've been playing.
I don't know. Fuck the Phillies, man. That's all I gotta say. I don't really give a shit. You know who I'm going for this year? The Cubs. That's who I'm going for. Chicago Cubs.
The Cubs. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Just my boy Jay, who's a big Cubs fan, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, man, we got a lot to talk about, man. I was telling this guy during the sound check just a couple of minutes ago before we went live. It's nice to sit down and talk about the news and rumors instead of talking about 2 nights of a SummerSlam and a plethora of pay-per-views that happened in the same weekend because AEW and WWE are going head-to-head. It's nice to just sit down and talk about the news, and we got a boatload of news tonight. We got counter-programming for WWE against AEW, potentially using Brock Lesnar as a counter-program against AEW All Out. We got the ESPN WWE deal, which we'll talk about. Karrion Kross became a free agent on August 10th. Maybe. We don't know yet, but all signs are pointing to him being finished with WWE. We got MVP in the backstage heat. We'll go over that in AEW. We got a lot to talk about, man. So we're going to get right into it. As you guys know, what you need to do to support us here, a couple of things. Number one, you're going to check the description. You're going to look for social media and YouTube. Everything you guys need for both of us are linked down below. Jason's Twitter and YouTube channel are down below in the description. Super chats are open. They will remain open throughout the duration of the show. It's the best way to support what we do here. Likes, 1,000 likes is the goal every single week. So make sure you guys go and do that for us. It's also the best way to get the podcast in the algorithm on YouTube. And we love being in the algorithm. And please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below for this channel. We got more stuff coming up this week. It's going to be a big week. And we're going to make August hopefully the best ever. So thank you guys very much. Last week, we did almost 45,000 views for TNT. You guys are killing it every single week. So thank you guys, as always, for the continued support of what we do here on Tuesday Night Titans. As always, man, I'll leave it up to you. Where do you want to talk? Actually, where do you want to start? And what do you want to talk about?
Well, I was going to mention, I don't know if you realize, Sunday was the last 8 p.m. sunset here in New York for the rest of the year.
Don't remind me.
Fall's coming, man.
Listen, I don't mind the fall, but I can't do 4 p.m. Sunset. You know,
Gets depressing, doesn't it?
It's awful.
I used to leave work years ago. I'd walk out of the office and it was like 4:30 and it's pitch black outside. You would think it was 9 o'clock. It's the only thing I don't like about the fall.
Oh God, man, that's before you know it, it'll be Halloween and Christmas, and then
Halloween's okay. I love Halloween. Halloween's my favorite, so no shade on Halloween.
No, I don't mind Halloween, but the sunsets, man, that's awful. Anyway, is it as awful as Friday Night SmackDown? I don't know. That's the better question.
That would be difficult. That would be very difficult.
What an awful.
I didn't
program.
think much better of Raw. Raw was better, but not by much.
No, I said the same thing.
No, I mean, what I said was, it feels like they're creatively bankrupt right now.
Yeah, they are.
That's what it feels like to me.
It's almost as if Triple H is on autopilot. He doesn't give a shit either way.
Well, it's felt that way for a while, but it really hit home this week coming out of SummerSlam last weekend, and just the excitement just isn't there. Like I'm waiting, and then got nothing coming out of those two shows. Just really lame, very paint by numbers stuff. Just not a lot to be excited about, unless of course you are TKO.
Yeah.
And if you are a shareholder, then you have a lot to be excited about. Why don't we start there? Because that was the big media news of the week.
Yeah. We won't get into much of the bigger of the two because I don't watch UFC. I don't know how much Jason divulges himself into UFC. But $7.7 billion with Paramount.
Yeah. Well, again, to the point that I just made, as far as why TKO would be bouncing off the walls right now. $7.7 billion over 7 years. So think about that. They're getting $1 billion a year for UFC going to Paramount Plus, right? Or the Paramount family. So think about this, right? Almost $8 billion over the next 7 years for UFC rights. They just did this deal, which we're going to talk about, where WWE PLEs are shifting over to ESPN, right? And ESPN properties, $1.6 billion over 5 years. And then you have the Netflix deal, which was $5 billion over 10 years. And that's to say nothing of the deal they made for SmackDown on USA, and they have NXT on the CW. So they're flying high right now. The UFC deal is it's ridiculous when you look at those numbers. That, to me, it's just insane. But I wonder with the UFC deal and all that money involved, what do you think? You don't take bets on whether or not the fighter pay goes up? What do you think?
I'm going to say hard no.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
I mean, one has to wonder, though, if they're eliminating the pay-per-view model, you would think that the fighters are going to get more pay because there's no pay-per-view model. But I don't know. I mean, I have a couple of buddies who are diehards in the UFC, and they expect nothing to change whatsoever.
No, I don't expect anything to change either. And actually, I mean, I don't even know how many fighters at this point. There's no real, truly big names anymore, it feels like.
No.
But there have been people that probably have had pay-per-view points. And so I wonder how different things will be. So the big difference here, and it'll be noticeable when we talk about the WWE stuff, UFC is getting out of the pay-per-view business.
Yeah.
Like, they have been in the pay-per-view business since 1993. WWE more or less got out of the pay-per-view business when the network became a thing, and that was over a decade ago, but they still have pay-per-views. Like, it still exists. But UFC is pulling out completely, which is huge. I mean, that in and of itself is huge. And so you have a lot of, UFC fans who are very happy about that because they don't want to pay. I mean, the prices they were charging for their pay-per-views were astronomical. It was more than what AEW charges for theirs.
Almost double.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were expensive. It wasn't like $40 or $50 for all the shows. So them pulling out completely from pay-per-view is a gigantic, thing even for the fans who are paying for all these events. But I know so many people, including family members, who were big UFC fans. And in some cases, they're still kind of fans, but they're not paying attention to it as much. And then a lot of people just stopped watching because there were so many shows and there aren't as many marquee fighters anymore. And so it makes me think about WWE and something that we've talked about before, which is this feeling of oversaturation, right? More events, longer events, bigger events. And in the long term, what effect is that going to have? Is that going to burn people out? Is that going to chase fans away? I think it's a concern, because we're going to see more of it, I think, in the years to come. And I do wonder about that. If you're just going to completely turn off a certain segment of your audience because there's so much content to consume, or maybe they're just not as enamored with some of that content. But you can burn people out by too much content. You can get too much of a good thing, is the point.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, on the flip side, you don't have to consume all of that content. I mentioned this to somebody yesterday, and WWE on Raw They usually go over all of the different podcasts that they have. Stephanie's got one, Undertaker's got one, Logan Paul now is part of the Fanatics
Cody.
podcast. Cody, all these different podcasts. Undertaker, everybody's there. You see that WWE is now getting into that market, and you go to the iTunes charts, and it's like the first top 4 or 5. It's full WWE podcasts. Yes, the sound off is in there somewhere. I get it. Yes. I'm talking about overall shows, not episodes. But yes, congratulations on that. One of these days, you'll take down Cornette, bro. One of these days,
yes. I may have to literally take him out.
He may have to die before Jason gets in there. We don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no, I may have to, climb up in a tree and blow a freaking tranquilizer dart into his ass or something. But
the point I was trying to make is, you don't have to consume all the WWE products. Yes, I feel like it's the product is diluted. I'm feeling it now. We're not even anywhere close to getting into these new deals yet. But I mean, they make this content for all different demographics and age ranges. I don't know who's watching those podcasts. I haven't watched one of them shows. Period. I don't know if you have, but I mean, there's a certain sector of the audience that watches that stuff. It's not for us, I don't think.
Well, no. I mean, so am I sitting here watching the Stephanie McMahon podcasts? No. Am I sitting here and watching Undertaker's podcast with him and his wife? No. Although I did watch segments of the one that he did with Gunther.
Yeah.
I didn't sit and watch the entire thing. Cody, I've watched a couple of the full Cody ones. Honestly, the one that he did with Kevin Owens a while ago was really good. That one I watched the entirety of, and he did a pretty good one with Damian Priest that I got through most of it. So, look, I mean, you pick and choose. What I'm talking about is there are fans, and I used to be one of these people when I was younger, where I couldn't miss anything. I had to watch it all. And so I do wonder if you have fans who, especially when it comes to the PLEs and the really big events, because there's so many of them now, and then you have Saturday night's main event, and if you watch NXT, you got the NXT PLEs. I do wonder how many people would fall into the category of, I have to watch as much of it as I possibly can. And if they don't have the time to do so, or they feel overwhelmed by it, they may take a step back from the entire thing, right? Because there are some people who are like that, where they want to consume as much of it as possible, and they feel like if there's now so much more of it and I can't keep up with everything that's going on, I may take a step back.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean,
I don't have that luxury, obviously, and you don't have that luxury for obvious reasons. But I think there are some people like that. I can understand some people feeling that way, because that used to be me many years ago.
Yeah, I serve myself whatever I can digest, and that's basically it. And that it boils down to it being Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, and then the PLEs, and then Saturday Night's main event, and whatever else they got going on. I don't watch NXT weekly. I'll catch up via clips. I watch The Vault when I can. That's about it. I'll tune into an LFG episode here and there just to see what's going on there, like I did on Sunday. That's basically it. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, why not? I don't know. Okay. I don't know, man. It is what it is. But this ESPN deal, UFC did get $7.7 billion from Paramount, so that's what's going on there. They're ultimately eliminating the pay-per-view model. Now, I want to, before I get into this, do you think it makes the WWE deal look bad because they're getting rid of the pay-per-view model? Meanwhile, they're having everybody migrate over to ESPN, and some people will have to pay $29.99 to now watch these PLEs. Does it make that deal look less than in the grand scheme of things?
I think the dollar amount makes the deal look less than. How could it not? I mean, $1 billion a year, more or less, is what they're getting. I mean, if you're going to compare the two, then, I mean, obviously, it's a much bigger deal than the WWE deal. The fact that the WWE one was just announced, and then almost immediately after UFC comes and dwarfs it, makes it look less than. But again, it's not necessarily like pay-per-view per se, right? Because what are we really talking about here? We're talking about a subscription fee for a service. So the traditional pay-per-view model, it's really been dead for a while when it comes to WWE. Obviously, AEW still charges for their pay-per-views, TNA. Honestly, most wrestling companies do. WWE is the biggest one, and they're really the only ones that have phased out pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is still a lifeblood for a lot of other organizations. But what we're talking about here is this $29.99 fee. So basically, and it's very confusing. I will say this. Obviously, it's a big deal for WWE. The rollout and the explanation of what's going on here has been very
it was very bad.
It was very confusing, and we're getting bits and pieces of what this means, and it's still very early, but I think they could have rolled this out with almost like FAQs, a lot better than they did. But what we're talking about here is ESPN on August 21st is launching its new streaming service. And my understanding is ESPN Plus is, ultimately going to be going away or absorbed into this, I believe. So August 21st, this new service launches. The WWE aspect of it will not migrate over until, I believe, WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, March is when the Peacock deal ends.
Right. Well, as compared to the UFC deal, I think the UFC deal with Paramount kicks in as of January, but that's not the case with WWE. So for those people who have ESPN as part of their cable, if you have cable TV or if you have satellite and you have ESPN, then most likely you're going to have access to this new streaming service without having to pay any additional fee. You won't have to pay the $29.99. You'll have to put your login in, and once you authenticate, you're in, and that's it. There are services. I have one of them because I cut the cable cord 5 years ago. I have YouTube TV. YouTube TV and I believe Xfinity, and there are a few others, DirecTV, are not on board yet. So as of this moment, someone like me, I would have to pay the $29.99. Most people, though, it sounds like, will not have to pay anything extra. And I think that's an aspect that really, they kind of buried the lead in a way, because I feel like so many people were so upset about the fee, where a lot of those people may have access to it for free and not even realize it. So that's something I think that people need to understand. And it just comes down to, what do you have? What service do you have? Do you have cable? Do you have satellite? Do you have, like a streaming service like a YouTube TV or a Fubo? So it really just depends on what you have. And that's what it boils down to, like your opinion of this entire deal, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. There's no straight answer. You can't just say, yes, this is a terrible thing, or yeah, this is a fucking great deal. It's going to depend on the individual. If you're someone who's going to have to pay the $30, if you really want to see these PLEs, that's pretty shitty, right? Because
well, let me. I don't want to cut you off, but a lot of people have made a big deal about the $29.99. And granted, it is a big increase from where we're coming from. I mean, we started with the WWE Network in 2014 at $9.99. They even had T-shirts made with the $9.99, promoting how cheap and what a value it was. But then we get into Peacock, and Peacock started off at what, $4.99. For ad-free is $7.99. They've obviously taken a price increase over the last couple of years. I think
Peacock literally just this week announced that as of the next billing cycle, the prices are going up again.
I don't know what it's going to be, because I just have it debited from my account. $18.99, $17.99, whatever it may be. I mean, that's still a lot of money.
Sure.
For ad-free.
I think I want to say ad-free, I think, was $13.99, and now I believe it's going up to $16.99. Yeah.
So that, coupled with the fact that if we still had the WWE Network and we're not even in any of these streaming services, if we just had the plain old WWE Network that we all admired and loved at $9.99, do you honestly think 10 years later it would be fucking $9.99? No, it'll probably we would probably be paying $17, $18.99 for the WWE Network, and even at that point, it would still be a great value because everything is there. It's in one centralized location. Now, I tried to do the math. Peacock is probably whatever it is, $17.99, $18.99. Disney Plus is $18.99. Hulu is $18.99. And then you do Hulu plus live TV, it's $89.99. So I think a bunch of these things here are being bundled in the first 12 months. I think when you sign up for this ESPN DTC, direct-to-consumer service that they're doing, you're going to get ESPN, Hulu, not the live TV, and then Disney Plus bundle for the first 12 months at $29.99. So if you're not with those services already and you want to sign up to ESPN DTC, you're going to get those coupled for the first 12 months. What happens after that, I don't know. $39.99, $49.99, I have no idea. Now, I don't know what happens if you are with Disney Plus already and not Hulu, or if you're with Hulu and not Disney Plus. I think Hulu is actually getting absorbed into Disney Plus. Hulu's not going to be a thing anymore.
Yeah, Hulu's going away at the end of the year. Yeah. So they're basically just it will not be a standalone app anymore. Yeah. They're absorbing it into Disney Plus.
So I don't know who has Hulu Live TV. What happens to you guys? I'm assuming that you just kind of get grandfathered in at that point to ESPN. A lot of it really wasn't given, clear answers here as far as what's going on with all those other questions that we may have.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I've gotten questions from people asking me, wait, I have ESPN through, I think, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So does that mean I'm going to get it for free? All that's been said is that if you have a cable or satellite package that offers ESPN, you'll get it for free. I don't know, right? Again, it hasn't been clarified whether or not somebody in that situation would be able to get it for free, or because it's not a cable or a satellite package, do they have to pay the additional fee, right? We can't say with 100% certainty. So there's still a lot of confusion around different things. It'll be cleared up in the months to come. I mentioned YouTube TV. Look, YouTube TV here in New York, right? We were talking about the Mets before. We lost access to the network here that airs Mets games, SNY, 2 years ago. And they negotiated and they couldn't reach an agreement. So we've been without Mets games on that service. I mean, I get it other ways. For 2 years. Same thing with MLB Network. We had it and we lost it. And they still haven't, brought it back. But boy, YouTube TV keeps going up. They keep charging more and more. It feels like we're getting less and less. My expectation, my hope, is that between now and then, YouTube TV will end up with an agreement, as will all these other services, Fubo and whatever else, and they'll get everybody on board, right? It's possible that they don't reach an agreement, but there's so much time between now and then. If you assume that all of these other services are going to come around, then theoretically, you would not have to pay anything for the WWE PLEs. It would actually be cheaper because you wouldn't have to pay for Peacock unless you wanted to keep Peacock for some reason. I don't know about you. If it wasn't for WWE, I would have no need for Peacock.
The only thing, funny enough, the only thing I only watched on Peacock was reruns of Third Rock from the Sun, and that was it. So with John Lithgow.
Really?
So that was it. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you what I've done with Peacock, man. It's just WWE and that's it. So as soon as we get this ESPN thing, Peacock is canceled. So $18.99 out the window. And like I told you in the sound check, I have Verizon, so I'm not going to pay for this. So I get everything through Verizon Fios. And I know a lot of people, they're complaining, this is a lot of money. Some of us don't have cable television. Let me tell you something, guys. A lot of people, with what you're paying now, it's just as much what you're paying as what I'm paying for Verizon Fios. So 10 years from now, everything's going to be around the same price. I mean, everything is going up. All these streaming services are taking price increases. So it's going to be a lot of money no matter how you spin it. But like we were talking about, Fightful put out a nice little bullet point about what you're getting here. $29.99, like we said, if you are a new customer. So if you're a new customer, ESPN, Hulu, and Disney Plus all bundled together. Hulu and Disney Plus. Hulu is going to be integrated into Disney Plus. It's going to be 12 months free. After that, I don't know what's going on there. No details about the future of the archive. I got a news article on that it may actually be picked up by ESPN. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Right now, WWE has a huge presence on YouTube with The Vault. So they have an advanced deal with Google because of how many subscribers they have on YouTube. So it could just be there, and they might not move it at all. And I'm assuming they're making bank over on The Vault with the amount of ads that I get, because I don't have YouTube TV, so I don't have premium YouTube. I get fucking an ad every 3 minutes or so.
Well,
So-
I got the I mean, look, I hope nothing happens to The Vault either way, because I love The Vault. I'm usually jumping on there, like if I'm sitting down having lunch or whatever. It's easy enough for me to jump on there on my phone, pick up with a video that I left off with, and they upload some really cool stuff. Like there's some rare stuff in there, and then they put these compilations together. It's convenient because they also have a playlist section. So if you want to go back and see what home videos they've uploaded and full episodes of this or that, they have playlists for that. So even when, and they will sell the rights to the library to somebody. When that happens, I hope that doesn't mean that The Vault goes away. Because there was something that concerned me a couple months ago. There was an article, I want to say it was maybe on The Verge. It was one of these tech websites. And they took you behind the scenes. There's a whole team behind The Vault. Because a lot of times people will post in the comments section there like, oh man, whoever's running The Vault, you deserve a raise. But it's actually like a whole team of people. And it was very interesting. But there was a line in there that concerned me when they were talking about some of the things that they've uploaded or posted. and how, and again, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something to the effect of, while it's viewable or while you can see it, it made it sound like it may not be there forever. Like it could get pulled.
That's interesting.
And that concerned me a little bit. But the Vault is awesome. It's not the network where you have everything in one centralized place. And I love the search function on the original network. I think the search function on Peacock fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know how that hasn't improved over the last few years. So at least there's some place that you can go for a good chunk of the classic content. But to the point that you made before, what you were referring to, the chairman of ESPN, Jimmy Pitaro, he did an interview and was asked about, would you have interest in acquiring the classic WWE content?
Yeah.
And he said that they would. When and if it becomes available, we would have an interest in having a conversation about that. So what they've done here is they're slicing and dicing. They're trying to make as much money as they possibly can. So what we're talking about here with ESPN, we're just talking about the PLEs, 10 of them, 10 PLEs. Doesn't include the NXT PLEs. It doesn't include the library or anything else. My guess is wherever the library goes, that's probably where the NXT PLEs will end up going. Maybe they bundle them together, or they could do them separately. They could, for all we know, stay on Peacock. It could go to Netflix, or ESPN could pick it up. That's going to have to be resolved in the next few months because the NXT shows, you're going to have a home for those unless they just put them on YouTube like they're doing with AAA.
Yeah.
So I imagine before the year is over, we'll have some new home for that content.
Yeah, they're definitely slicing and dicing and spreading the wealth across multiple platforms. We'll get into that too because I wonder how that really kind of affects AEW, which I seen a couple of people mentioning this on Twitter today. But the ESPN DTC $29.99, the archive, Jason said ESPN is interested in all the WWE library on ESPN, so we will see how that materializes, how much WWE gets for that. I'm sure that's not going to be a cheap thing for ESPN to purchase. So we have ESPN broadcasts. Jason said 10 PLEs. That includes the 2 night shows, which is WrestleMania and SummerSlam for now. But there was a rumor last week where Rumble and Money in the Bank and Survivor Series all realistically could be going 2 nights over the next few years, integrating the Royal Rumble possibly by 2027 is what the rumor is there. So ESPN broadcasts here as well for the PLEs. I don't know if that will be ESPN proper, like I get ESPN on Verizon. I don't know what shows might be on that station or network. I'm assuming they might kind of air a Backlash or a Night of Champions or something with commercials on there. I don't know.
Well, I mean, look, they said that select PLEs will air on the ESPN linear networks.
Yeah.
For all we know, there could be something at one point that airs on ABC. ABC's in that family. They air ESPN content on there sometimes.
Yep.
But what was said was that, let's just say one of these shows is a Royal Rumble. It's going to air on ESPN. That it would probably, I think Mark Shapiro said this, that it would only be an hour or two. And then you would have to switch over to the streaming service to watch the rest of it, which sounds like a pain in the ass. But I think that's the way that would work. And then, again, they didn't specify what they mean by select events. Would they be some of the smaller shows? Would it be a WrestleMania? A portion of WrestleMania airs on ESPN and then you have to switch over. That we don't know.
Imagine WrestleMania on ABC. Holy shit.
I mean, it's something that years ago I would have thought was unimaginable, but it also it is revolting to me. The idea that you could have like imagine like a WrestleMania airing on like ESPN or ABC. And like in the middle of the like the main event or something, someone gets thrown outside the ring, and it's like WrestleMania rolls on. And they go to a fucking commercial break. Can you imagine how awful that would be?
Oh man, I know it wouldn't happen in the main event, man. But imagine like one of the lower card matches, and he says that.
Oh really? You're sure about that, huh? You're sure about that? Look, I know they air commercials during the Super Bowl. I get it, but to do so like during a WrestleMania or something, it would be. I mean, they have ads all over those shows anyway, but not like literally in the middle of the matches. So they're going to make money any way they can. Honestly, if it's not commercials mid-match, it might be matches that are brought to you by, we've seen ladders, right? We saw a fucking Fireball ladder, Money in the Bank a few months ago. So believe me, there's definitely going to be more integration with these brands and sponsors. I just don't know what form it's going to take. I just hope it's not that intrusive, because that to me would be a bridge too far.
Yeah, that's a good word, intrusive. It's already getting to that point, but it's only going to get worse. The ESPN DTC service will include the WWPLEs, and this is the kicker here, and this is what's really going to sell people on this app. WWE is only the cherry on top of the cake. The NFL Network is being completely integrated into ESPN. So that means Red Zone and everything that comes with the NFL Network. You're going to get Monday Night Football, everything. All the shows on there, all your favorite personalities, they're all going to be on there. It's going to be a big deal. And I said on my end, if you are watching WWE, more than likely you are watching the NFL. So I don't want to hear it's a bad deal. Head on, it seems like you're getting a lot of bang for your buck here, even at $29.99. And I know a lot of people are going to mention, well, I'm coming over from Peacock and I'm paying $4.99. Like, I feel for you guys, believe me. But a lot of people are paying for an ad-free experience because we don't want to deal with that. And I'm grateful to be in that camp. And Jason's grateful to be in that camp. But you can't really complain. This is the whole point. You can't really complain that you're spending $2.99 and you're getting WWPLEs for $2.99, and then you're complaining about going to $29.99. Like, those are the people that are just in bad faith, and those are the people just looking to complain. No, and that's where a lot of the fucking criticisms and the hate came from all of a sudden, all just because of this deal. So I don't even feel sorry for those people down to a point.
No, I mean, look, I disagree in this way. If you are someone who was paying whatever the fee, $4.99, let's say, for Peacock, right? And you really just care about the WWE PLEs, maybe you're not a huge sports fan, right? We know there's a lot of wrestling fans who are in the bubble, and they aren't necessarily NFL fans or MLB fans. And all of a sudden, let's say you don't have access to ESPN, you don't have cable, whatever, and you have to pay the $29.99. No, I wouldn't say you have no right to complain. I would be upset if that were me, especially if I have subscriptions to all these other services. If I love the WWE Classic content and they end up selling that shit to Netflix, well, I have to pay for it. Well, I may have to pay for it anyway if I want to watch Raw. But let's say it goes to Netflix or it goes to Amazon or something. And now if I want access to that, I have to pay for that. You can see where people would have a right to be upset about that. And then there's other subscriptions too that we're not even taking into account. I mentioned this on my show. If you have a Spotify premium account or whatever, I mean, there's so many different services now. I can understand people being upset about that. My whole thing is, I think there were a lot of people who jumped the gun who didn't realize that if you have access to ESPN, you will likely get access to this at no extra charge. And for those people, it's a good deal. The other people, though, I wouldn't say they don't have a right to complain. I mean, it adds up. If you want access to all these different things and you have to pay the $29.99, either you're going to have to pony up or you're going to have to sacrifice one or two other services. So I'd be upset about that if that were me.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit more of a thought process on what you guys want to keep and what you guys want to get rid of. Another way around this, and I know
Sirius XM, right? That's another subscription.
Yeah.
If you listen to Busted Open or something, I mean,
everything.
What's that up to?
I mean, your PlayStation Network subscription. I mean, they raised the prices on that too, just to play online. They got different tiers. I got the $80 tier. You could go up to $140 and just get everything. And they got a whole back catalog of games that you can play from PS2, PS3 days on your PS5. So,
what about the Nintendo?
They got something too there. I got a $4.99 subscription just to play Mario Kart online. You could go up to family plans for $50 a month. I mean, it's everything's a fucking plan nowadays. Yep. So you got to pick and choose what you guys want. Another way around this. And I know a lot of people might not understand how this works because I was in your same camp up until about 6 months ago when WWE went on the WrestleMania European tour. I'm like, how do I watch these shows with the cool kids so I can get my my SmackDown and Raw at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and then go live like a normal person and be out of here by 12 o'clock? VPNs. Like, I didn't know anything about a VPN. I know Jason pushes ExpressVPN sometimes on his show. I went with that just simply, he supported it, so I'm trying to support the people that I know. And number two, I found it to be incredibly useful. Now, maybe Jason could tell us how much that actually costs and how easy it is, because I didn't realize what it was, and then I found out how easy it is to integrate, and that could be something that you guys can look into to watch everything on Netflix, because internationally, this is only happening in the United States. Everything that we're talking about here is in the U.S. Internationally, you guys just got free. It's all on Netflix. So if Jason wants to push his VPN and tell us how that works, I mean, it's just a simple process, which I think everybody can honestly get behind.
Yeah, and again, I've been working with ExpressVPN for a while, but I use it. It's not just that it's a sponsor. I mean, I use it myself, and I use it for different reasons. I don't just use it for the WWE stuff, which is, it makes it very convenient. I also use it for like security reasons if I'm on the road or whatever, doing stuff. But it's the easiest thing in the world. Basically, what you're doing essentially is spoofing your location. So like in the context of what we're talking about here, if you wanted to, let's say, watch, I don't even know, whatever the event is, right? And they're going to be in the UK for some shows coming up. That show is going to be airing earlier in the day, let's say on Netflix in Japan. I'm just using that as an example. And if I don't want to wait until late at night, until it comes on here in the US, I want to watch it live with everybody else. All I do is I jump on my VPN, I choose a location in Japan, I connect to a server there, and then you just give it a refresh, if it's Netflix or whatever the app is, and you can watch it that way. So that's what I did back in March. I was able to watch a lot of those shows at 3:00 in the afternoon, and then I'm going live earlier, and it's great, and that's probably what I'll be doing again in a couple of weeks. So that's effectively how it works. You click a button, you connect to a server, it's spoofing your location, and you may have access to certain types of content that you won't hear. Dude, they cycle stuff in and out of Netflix all the time, right? You probably get emails like, here's what's leaving Netflix this month, and it's just a list of movies and stuff. I was looking for a movie once. It wasn't on Netflix here, but it was on Netflix in freaking Argentina or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I get access to this? I connected to a server in Argentina with my VPN. I refreshed Netflix. I went in and there it was. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. So for me, I pay for the annual plan. So it's $100. You could pay monthly though. But like I tell people who listen to my show, I go, look, we have a deal for the show where you have to sign up for it, but you get 4 extra months free. I go, it's totally worth it. And people will write me and go, hey, this is great. I go, yeah, I'm surprised it took me this long to, jump on the bandwagon, but you're going to see a lot more people making use of these VPN services because, again, they're just useful in so many different ways, not just early access to content that you wouldn't have early access to here. But you can, log in somewhere else, pay a reduced fee if it's cheaper somewhere else than it would be here in the States. People do it all the time. You're just going to see more of that now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know not everybody's going to go that route. Some people are just going to go.
Will.
Some people will. Some people will go and find these shows online and make do. Whether you go through some illegal site, which has been done for ages and ages, and we talked about during the Hogan podcast. We talked,
matey.
Yeah.
Yes,
We talked about the illegal black box. My grandma had the black box. Man, I wish we were back in those days. But,
Scrambled.
Yeah.
Scrambled pay-per-view.
I don't know how long that's going to be. I don't know if WWE, ESPN, TKO is going to crack down on the VPN usage. I don't know. We can't tell the future, but that's another way to go about it. There is a note here, according to Brian Alvarez, Peacock actually bid to keep WWE on the service, and their bid was in the neighborhood of $275 million per year. While a significant offer, it was ultimately not enough to beat ESPN, which was reportedly an average of $325 million per year over 5 years, which equals $1.6 billion. Now, I did read also, Jason, that there was someone who bid more than
higher.
ESPN.
Yes.
And we don't know who that is, whether it was Amazon or something like that. And I said on my end, when I covered this specifically, I made a video on this topic specifically. This is a Nick Khan initiative. And I know you've said it. I've said it for a while now. Might not like the person he is, the business guy that he is. He's a very, very down and dirty business guy. But Nick Khan is probably, outside of Hogan and WrestleMania, the fucking best thing that Vince McMahon has ever, got his hands on. And he is the guy that's facilitating a lot of these deals. He came in with a very sports-centric mind. He feels the WWE is not pro wrestling. He thinks that it's big enough to stand alongside the NBA and the NHL and NFL, Major League Baseball. So ESPN was, I could have taken a stab at it and said, this guy wants WWE on ESPN. He feels like they need to play with the big boys and should be right alongside those other major sports leagues. And this is all him. So when they announced their deal with ESPN, I'm not surprised whatsoever. This is all at the hands of Nick Khan. And Nick Khan, if we watch the products, Joe Tessitore's from ESPN. Mike Adamle was there from a sports background.
Adnan Virk.
Adnan Virk, yeah. Jimmy Smith did UFC. I mean, he's very sports centric and wants to turn the WWE into very sports centric product. So I mean, whether you like him or not, Nick Khan it's fucking unbelievable, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's honestly, after Hogan, he is Vince McMahon, because Vince hired him. He's Vince McMahon's greatest acquisition.
Yeah.
You know, think of the money that he has made this company. He's made more money for this company than any individual performer, you want to name. Austin, Hogan. I would probably put Hogan at the top of the list as far as Vince's greatest hire, just because I don't know that any of this is even happening right now. I don't know that these types of deals are being made today if it wasn't for Hogan being the face of that national expansion. But Nick Khan is one of his greatest hires. And the thing also is, it was very interesting when I read that there was someone who bid more money than ESPN, and yet they went with ESPN. Why did they go with ESPN? Beyond the contacts and the relationships that Nick Khan has with ESPN, because of the status involved and the exposure they get. It's not just that they made a deal with ESPN, right? ESPN is going to be fully integrated now with WWE. They're going to have people on the ground, like boots on the ground at these major PLEs, covering it on SportsCenter.
You're gonna see WWE coverage right after you get the fucking MLB spring training results next season.
You're gonna have promotion for all the WWE shows during Monday Night Football.
Yes,
and all this stuff that Amazon can't give that to them, right? Peacock can't give that to them. I mean, they can get that though through ESPN, the power of ESPN and the mouse, right? Disney. So that's why they went with this deal, because it's going to give them unbelievable exposure. It's to a lesser degree, but it's very similar to, if you remember, during the NBA Finals on TNT and the Turner networks, they were promoting AEW.
It's great.
Now, did it lead to any meaningful growth in their audience? I don't know, probably not. But you know what? It was some hell of exposure for them to get, right? During these big games. Hey, watch AEW Dynamite. So now magnify that, and that's what WWE is getting with this ESPN deal. So for them, it was a no-brainer. But the kind of money that's being exchanged with these deals is unbelievable. I mean, it's a different time. It's a different world and media landscape now than it was obviously 30 years ago. But just think about what the sort of the engine that runs WWE, what it used to be, right? They lived and died by what? The gate, ticket sales, right? That was what the most important thing was. That's not the case anymore. That's not the case. That's why they're getting rid of all their house shows.
No, it's definitely the streaming networks. More and more, you're starting to see how much value that there is in live entertainment. How many of these networks have live entertainment, or streaming networks have live entertainment? WWE's 52 weeks a year. That's what they're being paid for.
Well, that's the other thing that Jimmy Pitaro said in that same interview. Again, the chairman of ESPN, he said he specifically talked to Nick Khan and said, look, where we have gaps in our schedule, we might rely on you to help fill those gaps with, extra programming. And he said that they told him, no problem. Whatever you need, we're here.
Of course.
So like WWE, if they had to put together a show, like apparently we'll get to it, but they're putting together a PLE next month that didn't exist before, where there are gaps in the schedule, they can step up and say, sure, we can produce something. And there's no off season. So we're here all year long. When you talk about MLB and NFL, there's an off season. Every sport has an off season.
Yep.
WWE does not. WrestleMania ends and then there's Raw the next night. And they love it. All these networks and all these streamers, all these big companies, they love it. What do you think? Go back to the pandemic. Everything was shut down. Like there were no sports, right? Movie sets, TV sets were closed down. WWE, they were in their little bubble down there in Florida. They never stopped. There was wrestling from WWE and AEW every single week. So wrestling is programming that I'm sure all of these streamers and these entities, they see the value in it. If they didn't before, they see the value in it now. But I'm just talking about like the biggest difference is this guaranteed money. When we come on here and we talk, man, they're creatively bankrupt right now, man. SmackDown was boring, Raw was boring. What's going on? It almost doesn't even matter. They're completely idiot proof right now because they're getting all of this guaranteed money, millions and billions of dollars that is just pouring in, and they can do whatever they want.
Someone tried to argue with me that they're not in a boom period right now. Creatively, they're not in a boom period. But I mean, I looked at the numbers. The stock, it fell with this news for whatever reason. It was a couple of days ago. It was down 10%. But the WWE made $339 million in the first quarter. They almost doubled their revenue in the second quarter. I mean, they're near $600 million just for the quarter two. Like, who knows what quarter three is going to bring in with SummerSlam? Like, they just keep going up, 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 up. It's not a fucking boom period. What are you talking about? Look how much fucking money they're making.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, how do you define boom period? I mean, you would think
revenue-wise, not for us. Business-wise, yes, not for us fans.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, again, when people think boom period, I think they're also thinking about, like, the boom period of the late 90s.
Yeah.
It's like you can't even really compare these two eras in that respect because the metrics are completely different. Everything is so out of whack now, and the money is just so much more, and the deals, they're all guaranteed. And I mean, they're selling tickets. Look what they're selling tickets for. Look at what tickets are going for. Why do you think they're making so much more money? They're charging so much more. There are people who are being priced out, but they don't care because the demand is still there. So the whole landscape is just completely different than the way it was during the last boom period. Their business is booming. No doubt about it. Creatively is a completely different story. But yeah, business-wise, anybody trying to argue that, they're not in a boom business period right now just isn't paying attention.
No, so this is the latest on the ESPN thing. And again, we don't know where NXT is going to end up, and we don't know if they're going to stay on Peacock or if they're going to integrate into ESPN. So that would make WWE right now with the CW with NXT. They're on USA Network. NBCU with SmackDown. And if you guys need to watch or want to watch, I don't know why you would, replays of SmackDown, that will be on Peacock. WWE has Raw on Netflix, ESPN now. What else am I missing? They got the Vault. I mean, they've spread themselves everywhere.
I mean, they have their foot basically in the pool in each sort of each medium.
Yeah.
Whether it's broadcast television, cable, street, which is smart.
Yeah.
You spread things out. You mentioned Raw. I don't think the Raw archives are still homeless, I believe, right now.
Yeah, I mean, that
has to be resolved. That has to be resolved too. I mean, just the idea that if you wanted to bring up an episode of Raw, whatever it is, from fucking June of 1994, I don't think there's any central place for you to do that right now.
I don't know how much interest is in that type of product, but it should be somewhere, and there should be a home base for it. Yes.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that the interest level is not low. That's the problem. Like, I love the classic shit.
Yeah.
And there are other people out there who also love the classic stuff. If there was a huge audience for it, these things would already have a home. And I think even before, when everything maybe was on Peacock, they had stopped really updating things. And why do you think that is? Because I'm sure they're looking at the numbers and saying not enough people are watching this to justify us putting all this manpower into uploading every single episode from the archives. So it just slowed to a crawl. Then they don't do anything to promote it. When was the last time you saw WWE, even for 30 seconds during Raw or SmackDown, throw up some quick clip and an ad and a promo for the SmackDown library or the Primetime Wrestling Live? Like, they don't do that.
Never.
They don't do that. They don't even promote the Vault. I mean, so to them, it's not a priority. It's just not. Until now, of course, where they realize, hey, maybe we can make some money off this. And then they'll just sell it to the highest bidder. And what that'll look like, I don't know. I don't know if that means, again, content might be pulled off YouTube. I'm a little worried about that, but I wish there were more people who watched it, because then WWE would care more about it, but evidently they really don't.
Well, like I said before, they're spreading, like you said, they're spreading themselves all over the place. I mean, if there was, if I can make an analogy, WWE basically has 6 to 7/8 of the pizza pie all taken up by them, and now you couple this with the UFC, $7.7 billion on Paramount Plus. I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but I did mention to Jason I wanted to bring this up because I seen Ango talk about it, which I'm like, this is a very interesting point of view to be taking here, and a discussion that really needs to be said, not immediately, but you look at when AEW has their TV rights coming up, whenever 3 or 4 years from now, and WWE is slowly integrated into all these different networks, and they got their home base 4, 5, 6 different places. When AEW needs to come back and start TV rights negotiations, where are they going to end up? I mean, it seemingly looks like there's no other place but Warner, and who knows what's going to happen when that time comes. It almost seems like they don't have any other place to go that's going to be more lucrative than Warner. Who's to say they're even going to get the same amount of money that Warner's paying them now 3 or 4 years from now? Does this affect AEW in the long run at any point?
Well, you can't predict. We can't predict what the lay of the land is going to be 3 or 4 years from now.
I'm just thinking out loud because I seen him talk about it today, and I'm like, that's a very interesting topic to discuss.
Yeah, these deals are long-term deals. We're talking deals that are 5 years, 7 years, in some cases 10 years. I think the Netflix deal is 10 years.
It is 10 years, yeah.
And they have the option to back out of it after 5. But they also have the option to extend it another 10. So like, it's crazy. Like, the Netflix deal could be as little as 5 years, but it could be as many as 20 years.
Crazy.
It really is all up to Netflix. So what they're doing is they're locking up the market, because these deals will extend beyond the end of whatever the current deal that AEW has. So yeah, it puts them at a competitive disadvantage because they're going to have fewer options. Look, there's a bunch of big media conglomerates and other streaming services. They'll have options, but they'll be a lot more limited as far as if they were to leave. Warner Brothers Discovery. Maybe Warner Brothers Discovery loves AEW and they want to extend them, and then they don't have any issues. Because I think that's a good place for them to be. TNT and TBS, and then getting that occasional exposure during some of their sporting events. Like, if I'm them, my hope is that I can stay where I am and just make more on the next deal. But who the hell knows what AEW is going to look like in 3 years, and what Warner Brothers Discovery is going to look like, because they're splitting into 2 different companies soon.
Yeah.
How's that going to affect things?
I don't know. Does this push AEW to, because I don't know where the discussions have went. Honestly, it just seemingly has gone ice cold. Does this push Warner and AEW to really get those pay-per-views on Max? Because the way I look at it, I hate paying $50 to watch these AEW pay-per-views. I will, because it's content. I need to give everybody content, and I got no problem with that. But seeing that UFC eliminated the pay-per-view model, WWE's a little bit more of an upcharge now to move their PLEs over to ESPN in this new app. Does this now facilitate AEW to maybe get in on the streaming deal with the pay-per-views? Because I think that would be something that would benefit them in the long run, and I think their fans would be very happy with that.
That was always the plan. It just comes down to HBO Max not being able to support it technically yet. I don't know what the holdup is.
Me neither. It's very weird.
Tony Khan has always said, like, not quite ready to support that yet as far as live sports on there. But once they're able to do so, the plan would be to move those pay-per-views over there. It's just taking forever. So that's not really an AEW issue. I'm sure if it was up to Tony Khan, they would already be on there. I just don't know what the holdup is. And if they can't technically support it, there really isn't much you can do. I know there were questions about Netflix, and I know I think they had an NFL game on Christmas Day. It was like right before Raw moved to Netflix. And they said, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. This will give us an indication of whether or not there'll be any problems once WWE comes over. And I think there might have been a couple of minor glitches or hiccups, but it went well for them. So I don't know why it would be so difficult to do the same thing on HBO Max. I don't really understand it. The other thing we haven't even mentioned yet is TNA is in the hunt for their own media rights package. And Carlos Silva has done multiple interviews saying that he expects and hopes to close some kind of deal in the next 60 to 90 days. And he thinks that they could get maybe $10 million a year on a media rights deal. So we don't know where they're going to land.
Is it, I've seen some of this discussed as well on social media. Is it possible that if Peacock loses the streaming rights to WWE and the PLEs, then maybe they pick up another pro wrestling promotion in TNA? Maybe?
Possible. Because I think the WWE may be able to wield some influence on that.
Yeah.
Who's to say that Peacock doesn't retain the NXT events and maybe the library, and they pick up TNA.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. That actually might be worth keeping then, honestly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, that's coming in the next year or so. WrestleMania next year in Vegas will be the rollout for WWE on ESPN. We will keep a close eye on it, and any more news, obviously, we'll have it for you, both on our platforms and then right here on TNT. But there was another piece of news here to go along with the mega billions that WWE and TKO is making. Backstage news on a potential WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. This discussion also picked up this week, and we all know that it's coming. We don't know when, sooner rather than later. I would rather never, but that's just me. Rumors about WrestleMania being in Saudi Arabia is picking up. The rumors about this are picking up. Now, Fightful Select recently provided an update on the entire situation. They noted that the Kingdom has wanted a Mania-level show for a long time, and it's not out of the question for TKO. Sean Ross Sapp says, we reported on May 30th that WWE had considered doing a special WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia as the country wants a WrestleMania-level show. It is certainly not out of the question based on what we heard, but sources we spoke to believe that a standard North American WrestleMania would still happen. End quote. WWE set to host the Royal Rumble in January from Saudi Arabia, and bringing the show of shows, he says, to the country seems like the next logical step for WWE and TKO. Though the officials are more likely to host a special with the WrestleMania branding at a different time of the year, similar to the greatest Royal Rumble in 2018, which I never will admit is a Royal Rumble, period. But
oh, come on. What, you didn't enjoy Braun Strowman winning the green belt that night?
No, I did not. Who was the fucking the sumo wrestler that got in there that they filled in for Yokozuna?
Yeah. Well, I think they were like, hey, we'll just put him in there. They won't know the difference.
They also wanted the Ultimate They wanted the Ultimate Warrior too that year, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so many of those guys are fucking dead now. They're like, oh, we want this guy and this guy.
Oh my God! Listen,
I mean,
they want the Rock. That was another piece of information. Yes. They want the Rock to potentially main event this special WrestleMania. Now, I don't give a fuck if the Rock is there or not. My take here is, I feel like WrestleMania is all. I don't want to say it's devalued, but you look at a two-night SummerSlam. Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, you look at a two-night SummerSlam, and I feel like WrestleMania was the one show of the year where it's 2 nights, and we celebrate pro wrestling. Now WWE is celebrating 2 nights of SummerSlam, and that's the WrestleMania of the summer. I don't really like the fact that it's taking away from WrestleMania. Now you're talking about doing not 1 but 2 WrestleManias.
Well, here's the thing that also was not clarified. If they do that, is the Saudi one also going to be 2 nights?
I don't know.
Because then you'll have 4 WrestleMania main events a year instead of 2.
Man, all of this is genuinely fucking awful. Like, fine, a WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, then have it be WrestleMania. Like, don't go and do another WrestleMania here in the United States because you have to do it over there, and then you're neglecting the fans here, and then you want to keep it here because of the reasons. Obviously, if they felt like WrestleMania was special enough, they would do one WrestleMania, keep it there. But they clearly don't want to do it there if they're going to do another one. They're just doing it for reasons. So, and we all know why. Money.
Well, also logistics. It sounds like a logistical nightmare because think about it. If you were to do the regular WrestleMania, right, the WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, there's a lot of people who are not going to make that trip or be able to make that trip. And think of all the other like ancillary events that are built around WrestleMania, including the Hall of Fame. And you're not going to be able to get everybody to travel over there. It's not the same thing. It's not your traditional WrestleMania destination vacation for a lot of people. And you're not going to be able to put all the legends on a fucking plane and fly them over for the Hall of Fame. So it could also just be that in their view, if we do this, yeah, we can give you a WrestleMania, but logistically, we're just not going to be able to give you the traditional WrestleMania. We still have to have something that we do here, back on U.S. soil, or it could be somewhere else. It could be in Canada. It could be in the UK. I'm sure the UK fans are thrilled at all the news that Saudi might get a WrestleMania before them because they've been begging for it for years.
Isn't that a conflict of interest with Saudi Arabia, though? If they're getting WrestleMania and then they find out that they're doing a WrestleMania over here, then what are they thinking? Like, I thought we were getting WrestleMania. Now you're getting WrestleMania over there. I thought it was our year.
Were you talking about the UK?
No, Saudi Arabia. How would they feel if they're getting a WrestleMania and then WWE's going to do a second WrestleMania here? Don't you think they feel slighted that they paid all this money for WrestleMania and then we're just going to do one over here?
Well, I mean, they might, because here's the thing that also sparked this. It was the chairman of the General Entertainment Authority in Saudi Arabia. He's the guy who's organizing all of these events. He's worked directly with WWE.
Yeah, Turkai Al-Sheikh is his name, right?
Yeah, to bring their events over there. And he tweeted something this week saying that he just signed a deal for a major entertainment event coming to Saudi in 2027. And there was somebody who tweeted him and said, "Is it WrestleMania?" And he responded with a couple of like smiley emojis. So make of that what you will. I think that they're getting a WrestleMania in 2027. Is it the WrestleMania or is it going to be Super WrestleMania? I don't know. It could be. It could be Super
like a fucking video game.
It was a great video game. I had that for the SNES, but that could be what they're getting. Somebody also, I think under one of my videos in the comments section said, well, it would make more sense effectively to like split the baby. So why don't you do a WrestleMania in the vein of WrestleMania 2, where one night of WrestleMania is from one location and the other night of WrestleMania could be from Saudi?
You talk about a logistical nightmare.
Well, my response was, do you honestly believe that the Saudis are going to spend the kind of money that they're going to spend to get half a WrestleMania? Because think about the money they're going to spend, like what that site fee is going to be. It's going to be more money than anybody has ever spent on WrestleMania, but it'll be an all-time record. They're not doing that for half a WrestleMania.
Bro, WrestleMania, I think, what did it earn the city of Philadelphia? Somewhere in the neighborhood of like $200+ million, I think, for the entire economy.
Yes.
What are these people going to pay for WrestleMania? Are we looking at upwards towards $1 billion for WrestleMania?
Even half $1 billion for WrestleMania. How absurd does that sound?
Bro, these people are getting a 2-night WrestleMania, man. Fuck a 1-night WrestleMania. They're definitely getting 2 nights.
They may get a full week of WrestleMania. Fuck 2 nights.
Oh my God. And then you tack The Rock on top of that. How much is it going to be? Holy shit. What is he going to be making? How much is Saudi going to pay for WrestleMania, including The Rock? Is he going to even be able to do it by 2027? I don't know. That's the news. I don't care about that whatsoever, but again, we talked about watered down, oversaturation of the product. I mean, money is killing the product, bro. That's what it is.
We almost had it in New Orleans next year. If it was in New Orleans, I would have gone.
Me too.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that. Yeah. I mean, it was supposed to be in New Orleans. The Rock went on television and announced that it was coming to New Orleans, and they switched it for money.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they switched it. And
tax cuts and whatever reason.
It could have been New Orleans. I was looking forward to it, but hey, they're getting Money in the Bank instead. So I guess they'll get a future WrestleMania. It may not be 2027, but I guess they're owed a future WrestleMania at some point.
Well, being that Money in the Bank is taking place on the National Bank holiday over there, we may get a 2-night Money in the Bank for all we fucking know. So they may get they may be able to double dip with Money in the Bank. Speaking of counter programming, this was in the news today, and this sparked some discussion as well. Right now, there is no PLE in September. We have Clash in Paris on August 31st, which, the way the card is shaping up, it's actually shaping up to be a very good show. Looking forward to it. I honestly feel like taking the month of September off would do the WWE television product good, because I mentioned on social media, ever since we have finished WrestleMania, legitimately, every 3 weeks, there's been a PLE or a pay-per-view that's went head-to-head with AEW, like Evolution or Saturday Night's Main Event. The television product, in my opinion, is suffering because of the fucking in-between these shows. There's not enough time for anything to breathe, and they have to rush towards building this show and that show, and it's like 2 or 3 different shows at the same time. And it's really watering down everything, and the stories don't really hit. They're not connecting. Everything just feels bland and boring. So I was looking forward to Clash in Paris because no September PLE, and then we get into the middle of October, and then we go to Australia and Perth for Crown Jewel. I'm like, all right, we get back to normal, and then on to Survivor Series. Well, the news is that WWE is creating a brand new show September 20th. And if you guys look at the AEW calendar, there's a pay-per-view over on AEW side taking place that same day. It's called AEW All Out in Toronto, where we could see the reunion of Edge and Christian, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. And that's looking to be a banger show as well. WWE, Jason, is looking to possibly counter All Out with what I seen from Baydala on social media. It could be a revitalization of an older PLE, like we got Bad Blood in October, or it could be Bad Blood, and they bring back Bad Blood not in October because there's Perth, and we just do it in September, and we get Hell in a Cell this year. So it looks like they may be doing a PLE on September 20th, and the counter program is rumored to be John Cena versus Brock Lesnar for this unnamed pay-per-view. Now, this is coming from Meltzer. He said that the booking for this
should call it ruthless aggression.
They should, yes. First of all, Indianapolis, Indiana might be the home of this because they do have a deal with the city for the next 7 years to bring shows there. Meltzer said that this booking is the reason why Brock Lesnar is not competing at Clash in Paris at the end of August, which is why Brock is not in Paris, is because of this. So you know they wanted him for this show, not for the Paris show. That's where Logan got the gig against John Cena. This would be Brock Lesnar's first match in over 2 years. The last time we saw him was at SummerSlam against Cody Rhodes in 2023, and he made his return to the company only a couple of weeks ago after attacking John Cena at the end of the main event there with Cody Rhodes on night 2. This would be something that I don't. It depends on who you are. You know, John Cena and Brock Lesnar have had some very good matches before. One being a squash at SummerSlam, which is still talked about to this day. Their Extreme Rules match in 2012, which was Lesnar's first match back with the company after so many years, is remembered for being so brutal. And then 2 years later at SummerSlam 2014 is when he defeated Cena in that dominant one-sided match where Suplex City was born.
Well, we had that great triple threat at the Royal Rumble as well.
Yeah, with Rollins, yeah.
Yep.
I don't care for the competition, Jason. My opinion may be skewed because I'm a content creator, as are you. The only thing that I really look at this as is looking through my lenses, and it might not be the most fair criticism. I just wonder what show I'm going to cover because it's a hassle to watch both shows at the same time, and I don't really like doing that. As you know, taking notes for these shows and being integrated in one show and just focusing on one show is enough. Doing two shows is just a little ridiculous. I'll probably end up covering the WWE show if this is the way that they're going to go. But if you're Tony Khan, and I said this the last time we raised this discussion, if I'm Tony Khan, I do not worry about what WWE is doing because if you have your groundwork and your blueprint for All Out, which if we can just come up with a fantasy card, just based off what we watch on AEW Weekly with Dynamite, it is shaping up to be a fucking great show. Plus, they already got that building sold out. Toronto's always a hot crowd. And the reunion of Cope and Christian should be great if that's the direction that they're going. That is going to be a great show. If I'm Tony Khan, I know it's going to be difficult for him to not get in his feelings because that's the type of person he is. I do not worry about this show. I do not worry about whatever this unnamed show is in Lesnar and Cena. Put on the best fucking show possible and give people a reason to go out and buy your show. That's it. I know it's going to be a difficult thing for him to do. He should expect this with WWE. I'm not surprised. You're not surprised. But, I mean, just as a content creator point of view, I fucking hate when they do this because I just want to watch my pro wrestling without being interrupted because they want to get in their feels and they got to be petty and disrupt AEW business. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it's worse for me because, again, I have the Sunday show every week. So I need to figure out, prioritize basically what would be best for me to cover live. And then whatever the other show is, I end up having to go into it, whether I can't even be later that night. It would have to be the next day, already knowing the results because it's going to be impossible to avoid spoilers for it. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll wait and see what's announced first. Obviously, I'm sure the AEW All Out card is going to be the better of the two cards and probably the much bigger of the two cards, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, the competition, I don't mind there being competition. Competition can be a good thing. This is an example of competition that, look, let's just call it what it is, right? They're being very petty. It is not a coincidence that they're doing this. It was not a coincidence that they loaded up All In Weekend the way they did against AEW. And I said it at the time. The issue here is not that WWE is trying to grab away AEW fans. There are no AEW fans, okay, who are going to watch All Out, which is traditionally one of their bigger shows of the year, who is going to hear that John Cena is wrestling Brock Lesnar and go, oh man, I got to watch that instead, right? They're watching All Out. And WWE knows that. They're not trying to pull in AEW fans. What they're trying to do is steal the headlines away that weekend. They're trying to dominate the conversation, dominate the social media conversation, because that's what they care about. They want to take the attention away from AEW. So no one is talking about whatever's going on, Edge and Christian or whatever it is that's going on in that show, and they want it to all be about them, and they want it to be about Lesnar and Cena. That's the only reason they're doing this. So it's a pain in the ass, and I think it does suck for fans who now are forced to choose between the two. Even if you take your content creator glasses off, it's still, a very annoying situation. It's just petty bullshit, but it really shouldn't be surprising to anybody because they've been doing this all year. And if you've denied it up until this point, I dare you to deny it now, right? I mean, there's no denying it. There's a clear strategy here on their part. And there's a reason why we had those reports earlier this year that Tony Khan was keeping dates for his future shows very close to the vest, but he can't keep them a secret until the month before. He's got pay-per-views that have to be promoted. He's got promotional materials that have to be sent out. So there's only so much he can do. Like you said, focus on what you're doing. Focus on putting on the best show you possibly can. The majority, if not entirety, of his fans are going to watch his show. As far as social media headlines, there's not a whole lot he can do other than just put on the best show possible and hope that people are tweeting about his show and talking about his show. But that's really all WWE is interested in. They just want to steal their thunder. That's it. That's really all this is about.
Yeah, I agree. And this is not the end of it either, because I read today that WWE had landed potentially a date for John Cena's last match, which is going to fall on a Saturday night. Saturday night's main event is the rumor for whoever John Cena will be wrestling in his final match. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they're moving that now back to the end of December, which they're looking at the same weekend as World's End. So, I mean, it's going to continue, and I think WWE may actually end up counter-programming that with John Cena's final match.
I feel like December 13th is going to end up being the date.
Okay.
I think I have a feeling that's going to probably be the date. I think December 27th is is it the 27th? That's
that last weekend, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say it ends up being December 13th. And that was the date I think that Cena's father even a few months ago said that they were doing it at whatever the arena there is in Boston, because they still haven't announced officially a location for it, but I think that's where it's going to be. And probably on the 3rd. And there was another, I can't remember offhand, there was another logistical reason why I think it's going to be the 13th. But if they were to do it on the 27th, just to go head-to-head that night with AEW, again, no one would be shocked by this. That's what they did on July 12th. It's the same thing they did with Goldberg and Gunther.
Yeah.
No different. They did the same thing against Goldberg, and Gunther was the main event of that show up against All In. So if they were to do it again, typical WWE, then, that's what they'll do. But December 13th is the date that's been talked about for a while now. I'm more concerned about John Cena's final match being on Saturday night's main event, which is like one giant commercial. How the hell is that going to work?
I can't even think about it now, bro.
Dude, it's awful. That's awful. Like watching those shows, Saturday night's main event, it pains me because years ago, that show used to bring me such a joy to watch that show. And now I watch it, and it's just been, I don't even know what the word is for it. It's just been completely overridden. And whether you want to blame WWE or NBC for that, it might not even be WWE's fault, but it's tough to sit there and watch that show.
It's gotten to a point where you don't even need to watch it live. Just watch it back on Peacock and just fast forward through the fucking commercials.
It's a lot more tolerable that way. But it's John Cena's final match, so you want to watch that live, right? It should be a major event.
Uninterrupted.
Uninterrupted, like a PLE. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
And maybe if it happens on Saturday night's main event, maybe they can work it out where they get like a commercial-free final hour or something. I mean, I don't know how likely that is, but I would hope that they can do what they can to accommodate him and this being his final match by not butchering it with constant advertisements and constant commercials and all kinds of bullshit, because I feel like that would be doing a disservice to him in his final match.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll end up cutting John Cena after 10 seconds on the microphone saying goodbye too, like they did Goldberg. Huh?
No, they will not. But I'm glad you brought that up because if you remember, Goldberg did say that in 2 weeks he was going to tell all about what really happened with his retirement angle and the planning for it and everything. It's been 3 or 4 weeks. We haven't heard anything.
Maybe he got paid off.
Think they got to him?
Yeah. Keep quiet, Bill.
Could be.
You know who they can't pay off, bro? Your favorite, Bret Hart. He's making the rounds this week, huh?
Well, he was invited to SummerSlam, and upon getting there to MetLife Stadium, was told, "Oh, we don't have a seat for you," and he was not very happy about that. Now, apparently, that happened with other people as well, including Mick Foley's daughter. But I wouldn't exactly go comparing Mick Foley's daughter with Bret Hart. Like, if you're going to invite the guy to the show, have a fucking seat for him. You know, I could just picture Bret gets there and they're like, "Oh, we don't have any seats," and he looks over at what was supposed to be his seat, and fucking Bill Goldberg is sitting in his seat, and I could just see the steam coming out of his ears. But yeah, he was complaining about that among other things this past week.
Yeah, he actually. My favorite quote from Bret Hart this week was the fact that he said that a lot of wrestlers would be better off if they copied from him today, which I don't necessarily disagree with, honestly.
I'm wondering where the lie is in that statement.
Everybody's so upset about, oh, look at this cocky bastard. He called himself the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Where the fuck are you people been?
Look, I'm the biggest Bret Hart fan there is, but I've said, like, the guy, he loves the smell of his own farts. I mean, look, he thinks very highly of himself. Wrestlers who knew him and were friendly with him and like him and work with him have said that Bret took himself very seriously, maybe a little too seriously. All of that is true. But even if it's true, it doesn't mean that what he's saying is necessarily wrong in some cases. Although I didn't necessarily agree with everything that he had to say this past week. But like the stuff with chops, which that has been something that for many years he's been very consistent in that he does not like.
Yeah, I could agree with him on that. I mean, a lot of people overly rely on that, and we see a lot of it during the actual matches that we see nowadays. But I know he got taken out of context. This is the full quote about people copying him and that they should. He said, "A lot of guys give me the courtesy of calling me and asking me, saying, would it be okay if I do this on television? We want to do this as a sign of respect, but I wanted to ask you first. I don't want to steal your moves without asking. After you retire, it's fair game. They can help themselves to all my moves. I don't need them anymore. I take it as a compliment, and whenever I watch wrestling and I see something that is obviously a salute, I take it as a huge compliment, especially from wrestlers today. They'd all be a lot better off if they copied me more." So if he just wanted the courtesy of a fucking phone call or a message or something like, "Hey, man, I want to use your move. Is it all right?" And then he's like, I'm not wrestling no more. I don't fucking need it. Do what you want with it. But, you know,
they use this move anyway. How many people use the sharpshooter every fucking week on TV?
I don't know. We've seen it last night.
Claudio, Natalia. Yeah, CM Punk, Claudio, Natalia. I mean, everyone uses his fucking moves. So, I mean, I don't really see what the difference is.
The style of matches, I'd like to see a little bit more Bret Hart style matches for sure. I mean, everybody's fucking doing flips and dives and all this other shit. Bret didn't wrestle in molasses. Bret had fucking banger matches.
Yeah,
like if like scientific feeling, emotion, selling a body part, and then when the late stage of that match got into Bret Hart gear, I mean, he fucking turned it on. Like, he wasn't a slowpoke in there. He wasn't wrestling like a big dude who's like Omos in there. He knew what he had to do.
Yeah, but you know what, JD? He wasn't doing a dive out of the ring. So, have you ever seen? I have seen Bret do a slingshot dive, where he'll go to the ropes and then he'll propel himself out over the top rope onto his opponent. I've seen him do that a few times. Yeah. But outside of that, as far as like a suicide dive or a fucking moonsault, like, yeah, that's not his style. Like, you weren't going to see Bret doing stuff like that. The thing that I always loved about Bret Hart matches and that I came to appreciate is his ability to sell.
Yeah.
It's not even the moves that he did, but when he was in there, he had this knack for making it look and feel like, man, this guy he's in a battle in there. He's getting his ass kicked. And that's what made a lot of his matches so good. For whatever his offense would be, it was just his ability to take a turnbuckle in the corner, you know, when he would get shot into the turnbuckles, and then to sell, whether it was a body part or just overall exhaustion or whatever. So to go back to what he said, yeah, I think even in terms of his selling ability, I think, or the punches he would throw.
Yeah, some great
The
punches.
dude, he had one of the best work punches in all of wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, his stuff looked authentic, and I think that was kind of the root of his criticism when it came to the chops and stuff. Is that, well, it was twofold. Number one, he just thinks it's, I think, what do you call it, phony baloney or something. He made the comment like his dad used to say, nobody ever won with a chop. You know, and maybe true, but like I made the comment on my show, I said nobody ever, won usually with a side Russian leg sweep, but he would do that every match too. So like that doesn't necessarily mean anything if it's pro wrestling. So 95% of these matches are taken up by moves that would never win the actual match, but now you have finishing moves that don't win the actual match. It's a very different wrestling business than it was when Brett was still active. But the other thing that he didn't really like about someone like Gunther, for example, he's not really a Gunther fan. He said he's a nice guy, but he even told him to his face, which I busted out laughing when I read that.
Of course he told him to his face.
I was like, of course he did. Like, sister, people will say things like not to your face, right? But Brett's like, I don't give a fuck. You come here. And I could just picture him having that face-to-face conversation, and Gunther's probably just like sulking as Brett is lacing into him. But he said he doesn't appreciate these matches, and I guess it kind of explains why he didn't like the Sheamus match with Gunther at Clash at the Castle, where these guys will chop and they'll do other moves where they're really hurting the other guy. So when the match is over, if they're all bruised up and they got welts on their bodies, like, he doesn't like that. Because to him, wrestling is, you're not supposed to be hurting the other person. You're supposed to be giving the illusion that you're hurting the other person, but you're not actually hurting them. And that was his other big criticism from the interview he did on, I think it was on the Masked Man show.
What does he mean? Did he walk away from every match unscathed? Like, well,
no, what he's talking about is going into a match. Let's say you get in a chop battle or a battle of like stiff forearms, like strong style. And you're not trying to injure the other person, but you're laying your shit in. So when you get to the back, you have, marks and black and blue bruises on your body and stuff. Maybe you wake up in the morning and you're all sore. That was his thing with the chops. Like, he would wrestle Ric Flair, and then he would wake up the next morning and be like, man, why is my chest hurt? Why is my chest all sore? Does Ric Flair not know that it's a work? Because to him, like, you're not supposed to wake up the next day.
It ruins the illusion.
It's not that it ruins the illusion. I actually think like those matches, I love those types of matches. When Sheamus and Gunther were in there beating the fuck out of each other, I'm like, man, this is great. But what he's saying is you're supposed to make it look like that, but not actually be hurting the other person, where they're going to wake up feeling sore or like, oh man, my chest hurts, my arm hurts. Because think of it, when he was working for Vince, man, like the schedules they maintained back then, like he was on the road almost every fucking night. So I can kind of understand where he's coming from, where if I wake up the next morning and I'm all beat up and I'm all sore, I got to go out and wrestle again tonight. So I can understand that mentality and where he's coming from. And again, he's very old school in that regard. But me personally, like, I still enjoy those types of matches. I think Gunther's great. I think Gunther and Io Sky. I have them as the best in WWE. Like, you
would think the way Gunther is as a wrestler, Brett would appreciate him more than anybody else on that roster.
That's what you would think. But yeah, he's no fan of Gunther. And you know what was also, I'm not shocked. I mean, I'm sure Brett's not watching the weekly television. Why the fuck would he? There were weeks where I don't want to watch it. But did you see the video of him at a signing and somebody asked him about Io Sky?
No.
He was doing a signing and somebody recorded him as he's sitting there and he goes, "What do you think about Io Sky?" And he looked up at him and he goes, "Who?" And the guy starts laughing and Brett's like, "Who is he?"
Who is he?
Who is he? He has no idea. And I'm like, okay, Brett, he's not following, probably women's wrestling at all, let alone the Joshi talents. Like, I'm not shocked by that, but like, it kind of broke my heart a little bit just because I think I put Io like right next to Gunther right now is like the best in that company, and I'm a huge fan of hers. But, again, Bret Hart, is he going to be up on Io Sky and Asuka and what they're doing? Probably not. But I just laughed. It was like he didn't even know. He had no idea who she was. He had never heard of her. Didn't even know it was a woman. Like, who? Who's that?
We love Brett. Meanwhile, The Undertaker, he said if there was anybody I'd come out of retirement for, and if I could still do this thing, it'd be Gunther.
Yeah. So again, it's just a difference in philosophy. I think Brett's really, I think he's hung up on that whole style where guys are just laying these shots in, and they're really kind of hurting the other opponent because it's the style now. It's when you just lay your shit in. And his whole thing was, man, the art of wrestling is giving the illusion that you're laying your shit in for real.
Yeah.
But in reality, you go backstage and you haven't harmed a hair on their head. That to me is the real art of it, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. It's supposed to be a work. I think that's what wrestling is supposed to be, making you believe, but it's actually a work. But yeah, Undertaker, he can't say enough good things about Gunther.
He loves Gunther.
He loves him, yeah. I mean, that would have been a hell of a WrestleMania match at one point.
I wish, but yeah, that was in the news. I just found that to be fun. We love Brett. I just, it doesn't matter what he says. I wish more people were like Brett for sure. This generation, but it's not going to end up being that way. So it is what it is. That's why we appreciate some of the people that model themselves after, like Punk and MJF, like the old school guys that are new school that just kind of know how to slow a match down and make you really appreciate the in-ring aspect of what's going on.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of criticism about the CM Punk match with Gunther at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And yeah, it took a while to get going, but they knew they were going 30 minutes and they were telling that story where Punk was just being obliterated. But there were people who were like, man, that match was so fucking boring. Whoa, man, this match was such a slog to sit through. And I watched it and I was like, I don't know, were we watching the same match? I thought they told a good story and it built.
Yeah.
And I thought it was an excellent match.
Yeah. Same thing with MJF. Same thing with MJF and that Bryan Danielson match, that 1 hour Iron Man match. That was fucking unbelievable. I never, for 1 hour Iron Man match with an in-ring aspect that both of those guys told, normally people get bored. I could have watched them wrestle for another half an hour, honestly. Yeah. That's how great it was.
Yeah. And it actually went longer than an hour.
Yeah. So yeah, that was in the news this week. Also in the news this week, another guy that fans are clamoring for, but we didn't hear any of his name chanted last night on Monday Night Raw. Not one single "We Want Kross" chant. Because I know we got that with R-Truth when he was let go or allowed to walk. We got a lot of "We want truth, we want truth." We didn't get any "We Want Kross" last night on Monday Night Raw. Now, Kross put out a documentary, Karrion Kross, that is, on his YouTube channel. It was viewed as it premiered in front of 15,000 people. Now, that's a lot of people. In the grand scheme of things, it is pro wrestling. All other streams and other shows, they get a lot more of an audience. But for a singular pro wrestler who's putting out a 1 hour documentary in front of 15,000 people, I think that is a huge success. And right now, I haven't looked, but after the full 24 hours, it was upwards towards 600,000 views on YouTube. So,
Ryan makes a great point in the chat. Are you sure it wasn't "We Want Brock"? We want Brock?
No, it wasn't "We Want Brock." No.
Okay.
Triple H got wax in his ear.
Yeah. He needs to buy some Q-tips.
Yeah. So Kross put out the documentary. I did watch it, as did Jason. I thought it was an incredible watch. I love the way it was filmed. I just love the vibe of it. Kross is a very good speaker. He speaks with a lot of intelligence, and he's just very open-minded about, a lot of things. And he lets it fly. He doesn't hold things back. He lets you know exactly how he's feeling. They showed a lot of him interacting with a lot of his fans, even downright emotional at some points. Where there was one outtake. I don't know if it was actually intended to be a part of it, but they included it at the end of the documentary where he read a very heartfelt letter about a woman who had 3 miscarriages, and she praised Scarlett and Kross for giving her the strength to get through all of that bad. And it took a lot for him to not break down and cry, which you very see if you guys saw it. He very much wanted to, and he told his director who was sitting behind the camera, "If you film me crying, I'm gonna throw you out the fucking window." He very much wanted to do that. He seems like a genuine dude, and he's a New Yorker, so we got to support our New Yorkers as well. But that went live this past week. It gained a lot of traction. And his contract, Jason, ended on August 10th, which he did allude to in the documentary, but he never outright said that he's no longer with the WWE. He said his contract is up on August 10th. He very much wants to be back in WWE. He wants to retire in WWE, but he never outwardly said, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm leaving WWE. So in this video, you got a 1-hour glimpse of what he's doing with his book signing, and then it takes you through SummerSlam and then through the match with Sami Zayn, and then whatever's coming next. He kind of left it open-ended. They still have his merch apparently on WWE Shop. The shirts that were apparently #1 on the site for a little bit. He did put out a statement, as did Scarlett, that they are taking independent bookings. And apparently he reopened his pro wrestling tee shop with some new merch. So I don't know what's going on there. But this is all coming from Fightful. Kross and Scarlett had told people that in recent months that their contracts were set to expire in August, and it did happen on August 10th. We're told, says Fightful, that Kross and Scarlett are likely to address this situation, which they did in the documentary. Those that we spoke to in WWE claim that Kross and Scarlett were originally slated to travel to Raw last Monday, but that their travel was changed by the company and they weren't at the show. Clips of Kross's match with Sami did air, but no mention of Kross fulfilling the stipulation of admitting he was wrong about Sami Zayn occurred. Fightful says they haven't confirmed if they had been presented a contract, but WWE sources indicated a number of months ago that they had told Kross that a conversation would be coming. He did mention in the documentary that he did have a conversation that ultimately left him disappointed because it was a very rush conversation and it almost felt like they weren't serious. Whether or not that happened, says Sapp, we don't know. Wrestling Observer reported this week that they believe the contract offer had been made, as of that time denied. We had not been able to confirm if an offer was made. They also claimed to people in the industry that there was no notice of expiration from WWE, and those are usually standard from the company when a deal is coming up. As with their future, we reached out regarding interest and possibilities outside WWE. Though they did not have a pleasant exit from TNA, the regime has completely changed within the company, so that is also an option. Specifically, when we reached out to higher-ups in TNA, they told us that there's no ill will with Kross and Scarlett. However, there is an active WWE partnership that could affect the possibility of Kross and Scarlett both ending up back there or with AAA. Fightful goes on to say that AAA, Kross worked with AAA over the course of 2 years, joining WWE when, his first time around. He worked there before he joined the WWE. Scarlett owns the most viewed clip in AAA history on YouTube at 35 million views. The next closest Sapp says is 10 million. Now, Kross did work Bloodsport. He does have connections to GCW. New Japan also booked Kross for their Strong brand in the United States. But that's been a couple of years now, and New Japan has only run 3 shows this year in the United States. He's got a relationship with MLW, and who knows if he's going to end up back over there if he's really done with WWE. What do you make of this, Jason? Because the backstage response is a lot of people thought that this was all a work. And I left the documentary thinking that this was also a work as well. I left it feeling it was a work. I went into the documentary thinking this was a work. There's a lot of room for creativity here. He did leave it open-ended. Now, in the hours after the documentary, I feel like he's really gone for good. I don't know how you feel now. Has your opinion changed after watching the documentary?
I mean, my opinion is that this is not a work.
Yeah.
This is not a work. It's very legitimate. I'm surprised that either no offer was made. Well, I guess he said in the documentary, I think that there was an offer made. Right, it was something where he was kind of insulted by the offer. He wasn't happy
it left him disappointed. It said,
yeah, it left him disappointed. So it sounds like they made an offer. Maybe they lowballed him again. I don't know the specifics of the offer, and his contract expired. So it's not like he's bound by a non-compete. They didn't release him. They just didn't offer him a deal that he was happy with. And so the two of them, I believe, are gone. And there were people apparently on the corporate, and I think WrestleVotes said that there were people on the corporate end in WWE who are also of the impression that this is not a work and that they are gone.
Yeah, and they said, by the way, those people have nothing to do with creative, but they felt like it was a legitimate thing.
Yeah. And I understand that we're in an era now where WWE is trying to, and I'm sure that they are leaking false information to mislead dirt sheets, and they're doing all kinds of stuff, and they're trying to, if they were doing an angle, yes, they would want to keep it close to the vest, but it's not an angle. And as far as where I think he goes from here, I think TNA is an option. Maybe New Japan is an option. They don't seem to be doing as well as they once were doing, so I don't know financially if that's something where they would be able to offer him a deal that he would be happy with, or if he would want to go over there. That could be an option, though. One thing when people ask me where do I think he lands, I really don't think AEW is a good fit for him.
No,
I just feel like he may have a degree of creative freedom there that he didn't have in WWE, but I don't see him as someone that Tony Khan is going to push in any kind of meaningful way. I just don't think he's a good fit for them. So could they have a conversation and make him an offer? And would he be interested? Sure, all of that is possible. But when I'm thinking about potential landing spots for him, I'm not really factoring AEW into it, just because I don't think he fits with what Tony would want.
no, they don't push big guys over there the way that they should.
Well, that's one of the key things I'm thinking of, in terms
and plus
of,
the bloated roster. I mean, they have trouble finding TV time for a lot of that roster. Is Kross just going to walk on in and get TV time over everybody else looking for TV time? It's going to be tough.
Also you got to keep in mind, like, what makes Kross really interesting to me. Like, I'm really into, especially the stuff he does in social media. I think it's really well done and very polished, and he's put promos up there before that look professionally shot, and it's interesting. And his character work the last several months on WWE television, it was interesting. In AEW, that's not, I feel like that's not really what they put a premium on as much as kind of the in-ring stuff. And they have a lot of very talented, very dynamic, exciting, high-flying in-ring performers over there, and that's kind of what the style is. And I don't think his style fits that at all.
No.
So again, I personally just don't really see there being a fit there. But, I think he could kill it on the indies for a while. I think he could do really well doing that. And I would expect to see some of that. I don't know how quick he's going to be in a position to want to sign a new contract with somebody, or maybe he wants to, go the Matt Cardona route, and look at the success Cardona's had doing his stuff on the independent scene. Maybe, go down that road for a while. I think that could work out well for him. I think that there is a place for him on the WWE roster. Everybody always thinks like, man, this guy's not going to be a world champion. Yeah, but not everybody is going to be a world champion. That doesn't mean there's not value that they don't bring to the product or value that they can bring to the show. There is. WWE felt otherwise. I don't know if they had other specific reasons why they were not interested in doing more with him. I mean, Kross in the documentary talked about, I think the podcast was Sam Roberts after WrestleMania, where he kind of flew off and he was angry that his contract info got leaked, and people didn't know, is this a work? Is this a shoot? And in the documentary, he says that after that was over, like, he talked to people there who were like, oh, that's really good. And there was hope that they would kind of pursue that and do something with it. And they didn't.
Yeah, I don't know if he mentioned Triple H in passing. He didn't mention Paul Levesque by name, but I think he said someone on the management side said, that's the Kross we need. That's the Kross I want to see.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did that Kross go? They didn't build anything off of that.
Yeah, I don't know if that was Levesque who said that to him. It could have been him or Bruce Pritchard. I mean, who knows? But he also made a point of talking about Logan Paul at one point in the documentary, and he was really putting over, like, he really likes Logan, and Logan was the one apparently who pushed for Kross to be involved in that whole. I guess it was going into was it going into WrestleMania, the stuff?
Yeah, with AJ Styles.
Yeah. So, and I brought up after WrestleMania, there was that one segment in the back on Raw where AJ confronted, and this was after AJ had lost already to Logan, and Kross was confronted by AJ backstage, and it ended with AJ saying, well, if you're so obsessed with this guy and you think this guy is such a cancer and you lost to him and you did a disservice to all the boys in the back, why don't you do something about it? And Kross was like, maybe I will. And I thought, okay, maybe they're building to like a television match, right? But that could be interesting. Kross and Logan. And then it got dropped. And I think he brought that up in the documentary, like it didn't go anywhere. It just felt to me like he started to get over a little bit. They don't like it very much when you start to get yourself over in a way that doesn't jive with what their plans were for you. I don't think they had plans for him.
Yes, that's exactly what I said on social media before I even watched the documentary. and I said it again on my video that I uploaded a couple of days ago. You know, Triple H, you know, a lot of people think that I'm so pro Triple H. I have been less and less Triple H as the weeks and months go on coming out of WrestleMania. The product is boring. The product is not exciting. The product is very simple. They don't give you anything to really look forward to. One of the main criticisms coming out of Monday Night Raw, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, is that they don't really give you a reason to fucking care about going into next week's show. They just end it, and it's the angle, and Rollins stands tall with the title, and we'll see you next week. That's it. I feel like Triple H needed to put his best face on. He needed to put his best foot forward when Vince was going through his bullshit, and he took over for Vince. He needed to really get the fan support, the fans' trust, and the fans' hope that the product is going to be different than what Vince was giving. He did for a couple of years. And now I said it's starting to kind of feel like Triple H is removing that mask, and we're starting to see the wolf that was in the sheep's clothing. And we're starting to see who the real Triple H is. How much of his influence is being deterred by TKO and all the money that they're making and what they want to see, and how much of Disney's going to come into effect with what they want to see? I don't know. I don't have questions, or I don't have answers to those questions. But I do feel like this is not the same Triple H that you and I, Jason, watched when he was running NXT and when he got to the main roster and we were getting those just great shows. We got some rich storytelling, and a lot of that came from the bloodline and Cody's finishing his story. But a lot of the time, and you and us both, bro, we talked about this during the Vince era. Every time, I don't have examples here, but Matt Cardona's one of them. Damian Sandow's another one. I mean, the list, Ricochet, the list goes on and on. Every time someone came from NXT or you got over on the main roster against what they wanted, Jack Swagger and fucking Cesaro is a perfect example. That movement got over big time. They tried to stifle that shit before it even got started. Rusev Day was another one. You get over via fan support organically, and it's not what they have in their plans, they will fucking treat you as if you're the worst person ever, and they will punish you. They don't want anything to get over without their approval and without their vision. And that's exactly what happened to Kross, and I feel bad that it happened in the Triple H administration because he was fired. Vince fucked him over with 90-second loss to Jeff Hardy. He came up from NXT. The entire Karrion Kross gimmick was fucking tarnished from that point on. He got fired. He came back. It looked like they had a plan for him, and then it never went anywhere.
You missed the best part of the match with Jeff Hardy, man, and the entrance with the mask.
I think that's secondhand. I think people really know that. That was one of the most egregious things that they've ever seen. Like,
yeah, I still to this day, I mean, it's just, it blows my mind. He was still the NXT champion at that time.
90-second loss to Jeff Hardy as NXT champion.
Yes, walking out there as some S&M dungeon leader or something, whatever the hell the gimmick was supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of examples of this. Daniel Bryan is an example of somebody who, despite that, the support for him was just so overwhelming that they had no choice but to pivot and to react to it. Because even in his own book, Bryan said, up until very late in the game, like until CM Punk walked out, it's not like he was factored into the WrestleMania main event that year. You know, he was going to be 5th or 6th from the top in a match against Sheamus.
That was supposed to go 10 seconds, wasn't it?
No, that their match went 18 seconds when he lost the world title, but they were going to have just a mid-card match at WrestleMania. I don't know if it was going to go, I don't know how long it was going to go, but the point is he wasn't factored into 2 matches that night, including the main event and winning the world championship. And then Punk left and they had to change their plans, and they relented, and they said, okay, we'll go this way. So you can force their hand sometimes, but like with Kross, you're not going to get this overwhelming Daniel Bryan type of support. A lot of guys don't get that. But if you're not factored into their plans, or if you have enemies, right? I'm sure sometimes that's been the case too. If there's someone in a position of power, whoever it may be, and you rub them the wrong way, I mean, that also could work against you. I don't know that he had any enemies behind the scenes. I know when Baron Corbin, after he left or got released, whatever it was, I think on Busted Open, he talked about like he had a sense of who the person was who had it out for him. And he wouldn't say who. That also is sometimes the case. You make enemies of certain people, and if they're in a position of power, and it may not be Triple H, but if it's someone right under Triple H, it may not matter what you do. So who knows what the political climate was and how he was looked upon behind the scenes. All I know is that he was organically building momentum. They would show him on screen, and you could hear it in the arena. If it was backstage, you could hear the fans. They reacted. And I saw that and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because it wasn't like a year ago Kross was getting these reactions. Something changed. And it's like, okay, you got him away from that Final Testament stuff, which I just thought was death. And my whole thing was, I've seen them outside of these gimmicks, like on YouTube and videos, being more like themselves, and they have actual personalities. And they could be likable characters, and they could potentially be interesting characters. Why not show that side of them? And they never really did that, but the fans started to react. And instead of doing something with it, what did they do? He was still basically relegated to these little 15-second cameos backstage. Or they'd show him with New Day, you know, showing his new T-shirt. I'm like, that's it. That's the Kross appearance for this week. Or he'd be on Main Event and not on Raw. They didn't want to seriously push him.
He got himself over the way he wanted to be and how he wanted to be presented. And it was not what was coming out of that writer's room that we saw on Reel, so they can't stroke their fucking egos in the creative room. Right. It's not their vision. Right. So they're not going to push what's not theirs. It's the Vince McMahon effect.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And again, for the people who will say, well, his matches weren't very good, you're missing the point. The point is, there was something there that some of the fans were tapping into, and there was value there. And they didn't see any value in him, because if they did, then they would have made him a decent offer and he would still be there right now, but he's not. And so that's a shame. But because people were so hung up on the matches, like the matches with Sami Zayn were really nothing special at all. And a lot of it, like the second match they had on Raw, was Sami selling the ribs, and it was just very boring. And they went to SummerSlam and they had a very basic match. So I'm sure that didn't do him any favors, but there was something there. The point is, there was something there. They never really seemed all that interested in tapping into it. And you can ascribe whatever reason for that you want to, but if you're not in their plans, I mean, that's already a strike against you. You have these crowds reacting to you in a way that they don't want them reacting to you. And in the documentary, didn't he mention the fact that he was told, don't acknowledge the chants?
Yep.
That right there tells you everything you need to know. If the fans are chanting, we want Kross, or they're cheering for, don't acknowledge it.
He used the baseball analogy. He basically attributed to it. The creative team said, don't go up to the plate and hit a home run. Just hit a sacrifice fly and drive in the run. Like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Now, but
that's an awful way to look at it, bro. How could you listen to that and say, yeah, man, that's exactly what I'm going to do? No, like, it's so unbelievable.
Yeah, we know you can go up and bowl a strike, but we really need you to throw a gutter ball.
Yeah.
So imagine how frustrated he must have been. I can only imagine. So I mean, but that says it all right there. Don't acknowledge these chants. Pretend that they don't exist. Oh, okay.
See, my thing is, if this movement really got over, and by the way, Paul Heyman mentioned something about Kross and Stone Cold Steve Austin and the organic rise of Stone Cold to Karrion. That was absolutely ludicrous that he even mentioned that. A lot of people attribute it to what Heyman said as possibly being part of the work, because why would he make something so outlandish like that? I don't know. Paul Heyman says what he wants to do. He was put on the spot and asked about.
Yeah, he was put on the spot and asked a question that he probably wasn't expecting. And yeah,
that's the first thing he came up with.
And that was the answer that he came up with.
My thing is, if this thing got over, Jason, we want Kross, and they got loud, and we heard it last night, and we would hear it for weeks on end. If they brought him back, what would that result in? I mean, look at what happened with R-Truth. We got what we wanted. R-Truth is back. He got on television. They didn't really do much of anything. They had him cut his hair. He's got this badass character back. Ron Killings is back on TV. Wrestles John Cena and went nowhere. All of a sudden, they dropped the John Cena heel shtick, and they have a backstage segment with R-Truth on Friday Night SmackDown, and he's back to being R-Truth, the silly R-Truth. It's like, where did it all go? So if Kross got the movement going and the reactions and the crowd chanting his name, we want Kross, where exactly would it have gone if he was back on television and we got what we wanted? Nowhere, like you said. And if he's on TV, WWE would give us what we want and then have him locked down for 3 or 4 years and then do nothing with him.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you can shut up now because, you wanted Kross. Yeah. Here he is. He's going to lose tonight to this guy. He may not be on the show next week. We'll relegate him to some he'd be in the same position he was in before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the issue. Even if they would have presented him with an offer that he thought was more in line with what he was looking for, if we're being honest, and if he's being honest with himself, and he probably already knows this, nothing was going to change. Because if there was such great interest in doing more with him, it would have been done 6 months ago. So he was, even while he was still under contract, it feels like he was a goner. He was like a dead man walking in that company.
Now, he said something in the documentary as well, as far as creative, that when Bray was there, Bray wanted the Wyatt Six on one show, and he wanted an extension of the Wyatt family on the other show. And Kross said he pitched the creative, him being the lead, or this was all Wyndham's idea, another faction of the Wyatt Six on the other show with Kross leading that side of the Wyatt family with the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch from Ring of Honor, or ex-Ring of Honor. Now, that never materialized, but we saw Dutch and Vincent tease this for months, that they may be doing something with Kross, and people got excited about, maybe we're going to see them back on WWE television. Maybe this is going to be a thing with Kross on WWE TV. They were tweeting about these things, teasers, little Easter eggs, for months before Kross's contract was up. So I don't know if they knew ahead of time that Kross was going to be leaving WWE. I don't know if there was a discussion that they might be coming in with him that never went and materialized into anything. I don't know what happened there, but I found that to be interesting. And my question to you, Jason, is I know we mentioned the WWE and TNA partnership. I know Ashanti, the Adonis, is no longer with the company as well. He's able to take bookings. And I know he's a lower level guy, but apparently I read that TNA is heavily interested in bringing him in. This TNA partnership seems to be a kind of a rebuilding thing for TNA. Like I don't want to say that they're getting WWE scraps, because whoever leaves WWE goes right to TNA. They don't take everybody. But could you see Kross not being happy with the contract that he was offered, and he was lowballed, and he wanted a little bit more than what they were offering him? He goes to TNA and still remains in that WWE bubble, but they are paying less for Kross's services. Meanwhile, he's with TNA and they're in a WWE partnership, and WWE still has the option, if they so choose, to use Kross in a meaningful way if they wanted, but paying him less and then not paying him what he wanted. Is that a possibility for him to go over to TNA just because of the contract situation?
I mean, it's possible he will end up in TNA. That may be the best landing spot for him, but I don't know what they offered him. Obviously, he wasn't happy with what they offered him. So, I mean, it doesn't sound to me like he's interested in kind of going back, but for a lot less than they were paying him before, which I can understand. So, I mean, I'm not sure what you're asking. I mean, he can go to TNA.
WWE didn't want to pay him, but,
right,
if he ends up in TNA, WWE would happily use him because they're not paying him, and TNA's paying him less than what WWE wanted to pay him.
Happily use him to do what? What TNA talent has WWE used on their main shows?
I don't know.
Other than Joe Hendry making that cameo at WrestleMania, everything's been relegated to NXT.
NXT,
they're
I
not
guess.
I mean, they're not using TNA talent on Raw and SmackDown. And Joe Hendry got used for 3 minutes and got beat by Randy Orton.
Use it as a platform to maybe show what he can do, and then WWE would maybe second guess, hey, maybe we want this guy back. I don't know. Do they?
What platform? Yes, they know what he can do. They had him under contract 2 different times. I think they have a pretty good sense of what he can do. They obviously don't like it. Because they would have done more to exploit it.
Maybe he would get more of who he wants to be out there, and it would open WWE's eyes more, because clearly they wanted Karrion Kross. Clearly he wants to be Killer Kross, and he wants to do something away from what WWE wanted him to do. Maybe TNA will allow him to do that. WWE's eyes will open and be like, oh, okay, this is what he wanted to do. Let's take that back over here and let's use him over here.
I don't know what it is that you're referring to that he would be doing that's so radically different than what he was doing previously that would open up WWE's eyes all of a sudden, like, holy shit, we didn't know he had that in him.
Whatever he's doing on social media would be on TNA.
But they see that. They're aware of what he's doing on social media. They don't care.
Maybe at that point, maybe they would.
Social media is not private. It's out there. Like, there are people in that company who have to, writers and people, even if it's not Levesque himself, who have to know, like, he's putting these promos out on social media and he's doing all this stuff. They don't give a shit.
Maybe I am being too optimistic, Pandy. Maybe I am being too optimistic. I just don't understand how you got a guy that's so creative and obviously wants to tell fucking stories, and you got the WWE who prides themselves on telling stories, and they've dropped the ball. Fucking now it's August, 8 months out of the fucking year this year. Like, you got a guy who wants to tell stories and wants to create captivating television, yet you're moving away from that. That's what I'm fucking a little miffed by. You got this guy who wants to do this, and you don't want to do it. So I feel bad for him, and I'm actually kind of angry, because all we want is good fucking television. And if he can create good television, why isn't he on television?
Well, I mean, maybe he can go to TNA and he can create good television there. And
At a lower price.
over time, maybe WWE would change their mind and have, a year or two down the road, it's like, all right, you know what? This guy, he tried what he tried with TNA and it kind of got over and he had some success. And so maybe it's time to have a conversation and bring him back. That's always possible. It can't hurt to be in TNA if you want to eventually go back to WWE. I do wonder with some of these people, though, like Braun Strowman, for example, he was released. And I can kind of understand why, because he's got the knees and everything, and he was clearly physically struggling. I don't know if that was the only reason why they let him go or if there were other issues there, but that was the second time that they fired him.
Yeah.
And there have been other talents who have been swept up in releases 2-3 times. At what point do you look at it and go, you know what? I don't want to work for these people anymore. I know they're the biggest company in the world, and so everybody kind of wants to go there. Not everybody, but like most people would aspire to want to go there because they're the biggest and they can pay the most and I can get the most visibility there. That's like the dream job. But like if they fired me 2 or 3 different times, my attitude would be go fuck yourself. Like, I'm not going to let you go back and do it to me for a 4th time. So who knows? I mean, maybe he wants to go back. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know where his head's at on that. It's still very fresh and who knows. But that's also part of this. Like, this is the second time now that they've either released him or just let him go. And I don't know, how many times are you going to let them smack you in the face like that before you wake up and realize these people, they just don't share the same vision?
He was pretty adamant in the documentary. He said he wanted to retire here.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. But obviously, if they offered him something, if his only goal was, I want to stay with WWE, I don't want to go anywhere else, I want to retire here, he would have just taken what they gave him. The fact that he didn't, right? If we believe everything's on the up and up here and he's really gone, obviously he didn't accept what they offered. If it was just about wanting to retire in WWE, he would have just taken the first fucking contract they handed him.
I don't know. It's just very bizarre. Listen, WWE is going to do what they can to reap the benefits, the most that they can at very little cost. So he may end up in TNA, do what he needs to do, and then end up back in WWE. I don't know what the deal is. Honestly, if I'm Kross, I'm going to the Indies because he could be the guy down there that fills the void when Cardona eventually gets picked up by a major promotion, if he ever does, which I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet, and just make a fucking killing. I mean, he's going to create such a buzz for himself, him and Scarlett on the Indies. Like, I don't see why he would not explore that at all.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good path for him. And also, like, with some of the social media stuff that he does, it just brings an element that not a lot of independent promotions, frankly, are doing enough of right now.
Yeah.
And so I think any place that he was to land, whether it was for multiple appearances or one big match or whatever it would be, he could probably create some pretty interesting content. And I think whoever he works for would be the beneficiary of that, and that's another way that he can kind of show people, whether it's WWE or anyone else who might want to sign him, hey, look at the kind of stuff that I can do.
Yeah.
This is what I can do for you.
Yeah, a lot of the independent promotions weren't even sure if he was let go or not, or walked, or if he was still with WWE. There was a report saying that some people were hesitant on giving him a phone call, him and Scarlett.
Which I don't understand.
Pick up the fucking phone. Pick up the fucking phone and call him. I don't give a fuck if he's under contract or not. You find out if he's available.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Just pick up the phone and fucking call the guy and ask him. It's not that complicated. Like, I didn't really understand that report. But,
so yeah, our opinions have changed. I thought this could have been a great work, and I know there was a report out today that some of the people backstage in WWE were, whether it's talent or some of the people that work in management, were upset that they kept the Seth Rollins injury away from them. I don't know what they're upset about. It ended up being a fucking incredible moment anyway, but that's the nature of the beast now. Everything, fans think everything is a work. I very much wanted this to be a work because the feeling here is that they got something with the views that this guy did and the traction that he created for himself, and they went nowhere with it. I was hoping that it would be a work going into it. Coming out of it, I felt that way. And now as I sit here today, another 48 hours after I watched the documentary, I don't think this is a work at all. I think this is a legit thing. He's gone.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, we'll all know where he shows up. So I wish them nothing but the best because they obviously creative enough to wherever they go, they're going to be a huge asset to whoever is utilizing their services. I don't know, man. Where do you want to go? You want to talk? You want to keep with the WWE stuff? Raw, SmackDown. I mean, there's not much on SmackDown outside. It was a fucking awful show.
Yeah, I mean, I did not like SmackDown. I will tell you that. I did not like SmackDown. Raw was marginally better, thanks largely to Io Sky and Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, that was.
Well, let's just dive into the WWE stuff.
All right. Well, we're not going to spend too much time on SmackDown.
No.
The two huge things that happened, well, not even huge, two big things, announcements that happened on SmackDown. Number one, Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul are being factored into Clash in Paris. Now, it's confirmed that Logan Paul and John Cena is the direction for Clash in Paris. McIntyre, great closing angle with Cody Rhodes as he claymored him into oblivion through the bottom portion of the announce table, which looked great. And we're supposed to hear from Drew McIntyre on Friday Night SmackDown. Cody will not be on SmackDown, as we're all wondering if he is actually set to film his role as Guile in Street Fighter, and he's going to be off for a couple weeks, and that was a way to write him off television. We don't know yet. But as far as Logan Paul and John Cena, Jason, how do you feel about this match taking place in Paris now that John Cena's turned babyface? I know a lot of people looking at it as, that's it. That's the match that you're going to give us with him having 10 dates left. That's one of the matches that you're going to give us. I know a lot of people looking at it as a, type of deal, but I'm actually looking forward to it because, John Cena babyface in France is going to be a huge, huge deal. It's going to be a great environment. Logan Paul's heat's going to be great as well, just to playing off John Cena's babyface. And I think people need to start getting on board with Logan Paul and how good he is and what he did for that Jelly Roll match at SummerSlam. If he could bring some of that to Clash in Paris with John Cena, we could be looking at a very entertaining match. And I have no problem with this match taking place here.
Well, I think also just before we get into that, we should acknowledge two individuals in the chat, one David and one Angel, who have dropped some bombs on us here tonight.
Yes, let's do that. I see that here. We have a $200 super chat. If YouTube wants to cooperate, there you go. Cooperate with me. $200 super chat. Angel, thank you, brother. Remember a few years back, many people, especially AEW fans, said Hook would have a better future than Dominic Mysterio. Things sure have changed. Also, Dax is an idiot. I find Baron Corbin to be so well-spoken, and he seems like a cool dude. Dominic Mysterio could walk out as the AAA Mega Champion on Saturday, which I know I'll be watching. Are you watching that on Saturday?
I will have to catch. I will not be here, but I will try to catch up with it later that night.
I'm looking forward to that. Dax is a little weird, Angel. Yes, thank you. And Baron Corbin, Bishop Dyer, cool dude, man. He's got open air coffee, which I highly recommend. I have a few bags here at the house. Great stuff. Go check it out if you're a coffee enthusiast. He loves his whiskey, he loves his steak, and he loves his heavy metal, man. So as far as me, he's a cool dude for sure. So thank you, brother. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for the $200 bomb. And David M. drops a $100 bomb. In some ways, the fan base contradicts themselves. He says, as you know, YouTube, I really wish you'd fix the fucking problem, man. I got that little thing where it just says, oops. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. I can't even read this guy's super chat. For most,
I have it in front of me.
Go ahead, read it. Go ahead.
All right. It says, in some ways, the fan base contradicts themselves. For most of our lives, we defend wrestling as a real sport with real athletes, but the half of them criticize Brett for taking himself too seriously. That's something a lot of people praise Jordan or Kobe for. Pick a side.
That's very true.
Well, I think it's a combination of there are just people who, when you talk highly of yourself, you come off as just very
cocky,
but just having a very inflated ego.
Yeah.
And people don't like that. Brett doesn't give a shit. Brett thinks that, he is, again, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And he's not shy of saying that. And then you have people who appreciate that, and people who like Brett and agree with a lot of what he has to say. So, yeah, you have people who come from the issue at different kind of ends of the spectrum. I think that taking what you do seriously is a good thing, but yes, I can understand people who think that Brett maybe thinks a little too highly of himself. I see it from both sides. taking what you do seriously, taking wrestling seriously is not a bad thing, though. It just means that you care. You care and you put a lot of effort into what you do. And what's so bad about that? I mean, not everybody looks at wrestling the same way. Some people look at it as a job, right? It's a job. It's just a show. Championships don't mean anything. The paycheck is the same. To other people, they win a championship on TV and they're in tears, right? I mean, it depends on the individual.
I also feel like if you're proud of the work that you've done, especially in Brett's career, and you look back at your body of work, you should be fucking proud. And if you're proud about what you've done, then preach. Who's to say he can't say what he wants? He's got a fucking incredible body of work. Preach it.
Yeah.
Show it off. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Brag about it. I don't give a fuck.
Even other wrestlers that he worked with have said that about Brett for years. Like Brett always, took what he did very seriously, and he was very, careful about what they would have him do on TV and things he would do, things he wouldn't do. Sometimes that was a good thing. Sometimes that was a not so good thing. If there was a finish he didn't want to go with or something, but that's just Brett being Brett. He's always been that way. He's been very consistent in that way. But in more recent years, what I appreciate is that he got himself to a point, and I guess he's kind of always been this way, but in the last 15, 20 years, he doesn't give a shit.
No.
He's not angling for a job. He's not worried about his job. He's retired. He had a great career, and he's going to tell you what his honest opinion is. And you can agree with it or disagree with it, but I think you have to at least respect that he's not afraid to give his opinion, even to your face.
Well, he did that to Triple H when he shook his hand at the WrestleMania Hall of Fame announcements at WrestleMania. He rolled his eyes when Triple H shook his hand. So there you go. He don't give a fuck.
He was like, "Oh, get a load of this guy." Yeah. Because he's had some unflattering comments about Triple H.
I know. Well, that's why he didn't get a seat at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I love him for it. I think more people should be more honest the way that he is. But
listen, man, we're gonna be old and gray at some point, man. We're gonna be like that too. The grumpy old guy.
I mean, yeah, but you know what though? Like Brett also, he's been through some shit.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Good for him.
Yeah.
Let him do what he wants.
I agree wholeheartedly. Logan and John Cena, how you feeling about the match? I'm looking forward to it.
I think it could be a pretty good match. A lot of the John Cena matches, it really depends on who he's in the ring with. Him and Cody just had a 5-star affair at SummerSlam. And yet they had that awful match at WrestleMania. So you never really know what you're going to get. If we can get something closer to the John Cena we got at SummerSlam, as opposed to the one that we got when he was a heel, then it has a chance to be really good. Logan was the MVP of that tag team match at SummerSlam. So I'm sure he'll be in there bumping around for Cena, and he'll have some big spectacular move, off the top or whatever that he'll do. I think it'll be good. I know some people just don't like Logan Paul at all. They don't like anything he does, and they look at this as a waste of a John Cena match. I will say this, Cena doesn't have very many matches left. I mean, he's got maybe, 9 or 10 appearances left. Of those appearances, how many do you think are actually matches? 3?
We know the Lesnar match rumored for September.
Well, we got Logan, Lesnar, that's 2.
Saturday Night's Main, well, if the December show, we'll call it, that's 3. And Survivor Series, Perth, yeah, 5 maybe.
So maybe 4.
Yeah.
So not that many. I would have loved to have seen him mix it up one more time with AJ Styles. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. I'm hoping, I would love to see him and Gunther as maybe his last opponent.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I think that would be a great match for them to do. And that may be it. We may be looking at Logan, Brock, maybe Gunther if we're lucky enough to get it, and then whoever that one other person is. So people may have their lists of who they want John Cena to wrestle. I don't think Logan Paul was probably at the top of people's list. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to have a good match, though. So I think the ability is there for them to have one of the better matches that John Cena will probably end up having, during this run. And McIntyre and Cody, I think McIntyre is a great first opponent, first challenger for him. It probably puts him in a position where he's going to lose, which I don't like. But I would rather they do this now and save the Randy Orton match for a proper feud where they can really kind of go back and forth. And I'm still amazed that we haven't gotten that yet. But they have to do it at some point. I mean, it's just
it's just staring them in the face. The problem that I found with SmackDown is outside of it being fucking directionless and boring, nothing really happened outside these two instances on Friday night. You know, we come out of SummerSlam and just looking at it head on, you look at John Cena and him being attacked by Brock Lesnar on night 2 of SummerSlam, and we go into the Fallout show on Friday where he was scheduled to make this appearance. No mention of he did mention Lesnar and basically said, if you want some, come get some. That was basically that's all he said. I was not expecting an explanation, but you know, I also wasn't expecting this match to take place in Paris. But I looked at the seating chart, and I mean, the venue that they're running in Paris is a decent sized venue. I mean, it's 30,000 seats easy. And then you look at the one that they're doing at the Bainbridge Fieldhouse or something in Indianapolis. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be a big deal as well. I just feel like coming out of SummerSlam, the fact that we didn't get any explanation, any follow-up after what we saw close their second biggest show of the year, I just find that to be fucking lazy. So they're going, it doesn't even make sense logistically. They're going from Lesnar and Cena closing night 2 of SummerSlam to Cena, Logan Paul. And I just looking at it head on, Jason, I don't know how you feel about it. It just looks and sounds ridiculous. Like we're skipping one to do the other, and then we'll go back to the one when we want to. That's just the way of creative nowadays.
But we know why that is, though. Yeah, but we know why that is. We talked about this earlier.
I know. It just doesn't make sense to me. I know.
They don't care. They don't care. They want to fuck with AEW. They're going to run a big marquee main event that weekend. They're going to steal up all the headlines and suck up all the oxygen that weekend, so nobody is talking about what they're doing because they can. So they don't care. So that's not really a surprise. But Cody and Drew will be also a very good match.
Yeah.
As far as the rest of SmackDown, I honestly, as I sit here right now, I don't even have what the lineup was in front of me. I know that there was stuff with
the only other thing I want to mention to you is Sammy versus Solo. I don't know why Sammy was in Montreal on Friday. Great, hometown pop, whatever it is. But now we got Solo losing to Sami Zayn due to shenanigans on Friday, where we saw Solo last night on Raw show up and attack Sami Zayn after his match with Rusev. What the fuck are we doing with the United States title, and where's Jacob Fatu? Because it almost seems like Sammy and Solo are getting into a program which I am fucking done with, just the Bloodline or the MFTs in general. And where is Jacob Fatu? Does he not want the United States Championship? No direction or follow-up coming out of SummerSlam. And he was fucking robbed in a steel cage match. It was 4-on-2, and no mention of him wanting or going after the United States title. Where is he?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Why do we care? I don't know. What is Solo Sikoa doing on Monday Night Raw? What is Sami Zayn doing on Friday Night SmackDown? Can you please tell me what we're doing?
I don't know, but I'm watching SmackDown on Friday, and I'm watching the stuff with the MFTs, and I want to bang my head against the wall. And I'm like, Sammy beating him on Friday, I really hope that doesn't mean that we're going to see the MFTs on Raw Monday night. And there they were. There they were on Raw last night, the fucking MFTs. They come out. And look, the only match that makes sense is Sami Zayn challenging for the United States Championship, because he doesn't even go there, as they say, right? He's not even a SmackDown guy. And he pinned the United States champion. Now, when you're a champion and you get pinned, if you don't lose the title, whoever beats you should be next in line for a title shot. So they should do Sammy and Solo. It doesn't make any sense, but that's the match that they should do. I feel like that's going to be the match in Paris for the U.S. title. Because this brand split stuff, it doesn't apply anymore. Like, when LA Knight started showing up on Raw challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship, you knew it meant nothing. So this is just, that's why I laugh when people say, are they doing a draft? Are we still going to get a draft? Like, no, there's no point in doing a draft because guys are bouncing back and forth. Everyone is. We saw Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest.
She's on Raw, 3 fucking shows.
Yeah, none of it matters. Like, none of it matters. It just doesn't matter. So, yeah, I mean, it's very weird. I know why they wanted Sammy in Montreal, fine. But he pinned the U.S. champion. How do you not do a U.S. title match coming out of it? That has to be the Paris match.
Is it a case where Jacob Fatu can't travel internationally to Paris or to Canada? Because I don't know. Maybe the chat can help me. I thought we saw Jacob Fatu travel internationally and WWE took care of that.
I think WWE took care of it. He's been on international shows before, so I don't think so. Unless it's certain countries, it is still an issue, but I think that was resolved a long time ago. I don't know. frankly, I don't even want to see him involved.
Me neither.
With this stuff anymore. So if they
like,
moved him away,
like you said last week, just move him over to the other show and get them get him away from these guys.
well, I mean, move him over to a different show or just a different feud. But like, yeah, what is he even gaining at this point by continuing to feud with Solo and the MFTs and Tala Tonga? Like, who cares? Who cares? He should be involved in something even bigger than that. But yeah, so SmackDown, and then don't even get me started on the whole segment with R-Truth, and now he's back to being,
the mime segment he did with Cena.
Yeah, like the Doinks. Remember that?
Yeah.
WrestleMania 9?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Very good. So glad he cut his hair off and he was getting all serious. This is Ron Killings now. Really? Okay. Well,
what about Charlotte's Lily doll? You like that one too?
Oh yeah, Charlie the doll. That's great.
With blonde hair, yeah.
That was fantastic. Yeah, you know what? Fuck that show. Let's not talk about that show anymore. So let's talk about Raw from last night real quick here, because I guess the big story, we were supposed to get a women's world championship match last night, and it was advertised all week. And then a few hours before the show, they announced that Naomi was not medically cleared.
Yeah.
And we have not gotten any kind of an update on this. No. Now, apparently she was there, so she made the trip, but she just was not medically cleared. And no one is saying anything other than they've made, and I saw the announcement that her and Jimmy are going to be on Stephanie McMahon's podcast on Thursday.
Together.
Which makes one wonder.
I don't know, man. I don't want to speculate.
Well, I don't want to speculate either, but I mean, she's been very, I want to say it was with the Bellas, maybe on their podcast. It was earlier this year, but whatever show it was, I mean, she's been very open and adamant about wanting to start a family at some point. And she's been on the grind here for this company now for, I mean, I know she left and was in TNA for a while, but yeah, she's been going for over a decade now. And it just makes you wonder, That's all I'm saying. Because it's just, everyone's being very vague and very tight-lipped about this. And I think that if it was just an injury or a concussion or something that we would have,
or an illness or something like
COVID. We would have heard, like, this shit always leaks out. Like we would have heard something. So yeah, without diving into any specific speculation, I suspect that by Thursday we'll have our answer.
Yeah, if that is the announcement that they make, A, congratulations. B, I'm glad that they decided to give her a title run, no matter how short it was, because the hard work that she put into not only her run there, but this gimmick that she seemingly has just owned. Great television when she's on. She's one of the bright spots of that division. I'm glad that they gave her a little bit of a title run and let her run with it. Now, what that means for the World Championship, if it does come to a point where they have to take it off of her, I don't know. Maybe we get Stephanie and EO in Paris, which, I mean, I don't think either one of us is going to fucking complain.
No, we're not. But look, I mean, it's tough because even if it's an injury, if it's anything that would necessitate her having to surrender the championship, it's tough because Liv Morgan got hurt. And I even said this, like, you almost had to move Naomi over because you had to replace Liv as like the top female heel in that division. And Naomi, who's been doing this, new gimmick as a heel now, she's been doing very well. She slid over, effectively took the Liv Morgan role on that show. Now, if she has to go away, you're down Liv Morgan and Naomi.
Yeah.
So it's not an ideal situation. You're going to have another like top female heel on that show. Becky has the Intercontinental title, so it's not going to be her. So who's going to step up in that spot? Now, if we end up with Stephanie and Io for the championship in Paris, I mean, we're all winners here if we get that match, because that's going to be incredible. And then whoever comes out of that with the title can defend in Perth against Rhea. So it all kind of lines up. But I still feel like you need that top female heel on that show.
I wonder what we got last night, if it was meant to happen this soon or if it was something that was going to kind of be a slow burn. I had pitched, I'd love to see Asuka turn heel. I feel like the Asuka babyface character, she's been through it. We've seen it, been there, done that. Do you think that with this Naomi situation, we don't know what it is yet, that Asuka could be the one to transition to heel and then they replace Naomi with Asuka as one of the top heels on the show, being that we got what we got last night?
Well, I mean, it feels like Asuka's probably going heel. Is she going to be the top female heel? I don't know about that. Now, we also got a video last night with Bailey.
Yeah.
And obviously she's going to be undergoing some sort of character transformation. Let me get your thoughts on this. I thought the video was really well done.
It was great.
And then they stuck at the very end, they stuck that little soundbite in there of her doing that cackle from when she was doing the ding dong hello stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that was not needed at the end of that video. Like, I mean, you come away from the rest of the video thinking she's probably going heel, but then they just beat you over the head with it at the very end. And I just thought that last part was completely unnecessary. But it looks like she'll be going heel soon. So maybe Bailey ends up in that spot.
I don't mind that either. I just think the ding dong hello soundbite was more of a representation of giving fans like the light bulb going off that she may be turning heel. I don't necessarily think she's going to go back to that comedy / whatever she was.
No.
She was very good as a heel.
Yeah, no, I didn't take it as her being goofy or anything like that. I took it as this woman is going heel.
Yeah.
But like, we don't have to be beaten over the head with it.
Ah, okay.
You don't have to, like, we can get the gist of it from the rest of the video was really good, and then you kind of fade out with it. But then they had to stick that in there at the very end. I'm like, all right,
maybe she's gonna have a split personality gimmick. Who knows?
So she'll be a heel and a baby face.
She'll be like fucking Harvey Dent.
Yeah, one week we'll have babyface Bailey, and then the next week she'll be a heel. Yeah,
I don't know. Did she stay on Raw? Did she go to SmackDown? I don't know. You can't turn everybody heel. People are talking about Jade going heel after what we've seen on social media with her. She's like all down in the dumps and down on herself. Maybe she goes heel.
Yeah, but if she goes heel, she'll be heel on SmackDown. Yeah. We're talking about Raw.
That's a lot of heel turns though in the women's division. Jade and Bailey, Asuka. Can't turn everybody heel.
Yeah, but you didn't plan for two of your top heels to, again, if that's the case with Naomi, to potentially go down. So you have no choice. Like, somebody has to take that spot. If that means that you have to turn somebody you weren't planning on turning, then so be it. All the ones that you just mentioned, though, feels like that's been in the works for a while. Like, if Jade goes heel, which is what I think is going to happen. And then I think when Bianca comes back, you could eventually do Bianca and Jade with Jade as the heel. Asuka going heel, I'm sure that was the plan. They've been teasing that for a few weeks now. And then Bailey. So all of this was planned. Is it too much? It might be. But again, they're not all on the same show. So I think it's not the end of the world. I just don't know who else it would be in that spot, if not the people that we just talked about.
There's some solid names there. Naomi was doing great work. Hopefully, if Bailey's the one that takes that spot and fills in for Naomi, she just settles right back into that. It took me a little bit to actually get used to Bailey being heel, but when she settled into that role, she was excellent. So we'll see what happens there. What happens to Lyra, I don't know. Lyra said, none of my problem. I feel bad for Bailey, but she caused this all by herself. So who knows if Lyra and Bailey are going to be on the same brand or if they end up moving one over to SmackDown. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's the latest in the women's division. The other big thing, Jason, happened on Monday Night Raw is CM Punk and LA Knight. They opened the show last night. I thought they had a great chemistry back and forth on the microphone. I don't know how you felt, but I'd love to get your insight here. I felt like they had great chemistry, but something seemingly was off, and I really can't put my finger on it. I thought that maybe they were, or at least LA Knight was, nervous, or they are two excellent promos, and maybe they were being very, very cautious not to kind of bury each other on the microphone because they both have to look good coming out of this thing, being that they're both going to be in the title match on the PLE. Do you feel like they kind of held back, and that's what really kind of made the segment feel a little off? What was your take with it? Because I thought otherwise it was a great segment.
No, I mean, I didn't feel that way at all. I mean, what were you expecting? It's not like Punk's in there with Drew McIntyre. What's he gonna? I mean,
it felt like Punk was holding himself back. Like he almost forgot he was. It almost felt like he forgot a couple of lines and he didn't know where to go next.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with LA Knight. I mean, that could just be Punk having an off night. Well, I thought Knight was fine. I didn't get any impression from Knight that he was nervous or forgetting his lines or anything. In fact, I love the line when Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman came out, and Reed has the two pairs of sneakers around his neck. And Knight called him a walking footlocker. I got a kick out of that line. So yeah, but like with Punk and Knight, I don't think the idea was that they were supposed to be out there like blazing into each other. It was like Knight said, look, I don't have a problem with you unless you do that shit again. Because Punk cost him that title match the week before, and that's why it ended up as a DQ. So if it felt like they were holding back, I think it was by design. Like there's this underlying tension that they wanted to convey, but like they're not going to tear into each other just yet. And then by the end of the show, I think Punk tackled him, and then they were going at it. So I think that was done intentionally.
Yeah, I guess. I also do like the fact that they really did make sense of it, being that both are baby faces. Like we know Punk didn't say anything last week in regards to Rollins cashing in at SummerSlam, and LA Knight got the match with Seth Rollins last week. Punk showed up and cost LA Knight the match. I like the fact that they addressed Punk not being out there to cost LA Knight, and LA Knight understanding he was out there not because he wanted to fuck LA Knight over, but he was going after Rollins. But Punk said something along the lines of, well, you're lucky I was there. I wasn't out there to take the title opportunity away from you. And he spun it in a way where Rollins was about to curb stomp you on the concrete with the exposed concrete because he lifted up the mat. You know, you wouldn't be even in position to get another title match if I didn't come out there and save you, so you should be thanking me. So I like the fact that they kind of weaved that in there and kind of made it seem like Punk was also trying to help LA Knight while also going after Seth Rollins. So I like that they kept them both grounded, and they're both very over baby faces. So I really did like the segment coming off of Monday Night last night.
Yeah, and then at the end of it, you know, you had Knight saying, look, I hope you get your rematch, and, you know, you deserve a rematch as well, but not before me. Like, you're behind me in line, but I'll tell you what, when I win the championship, you'll be the first person I defend against and beat. So that's kind of how they ended things there before Heyman and his crew came out. And then it built to what we saw at the end of the show. But I mean, as far as the rest of the show, we were going to get Naomi and Io. We got Io and Roxanne instead. I don't know that Io and Naomi were going to have a better match than what we got with Io and Roxanne.
Roxanne's great.
Yeah, she's great. Their match was very good. It was honestly the highlight of the show, to be honest with you.
Outside Braun Breakers, you're 47. What are you going to do?
Yes.
And you're 40, and your collective age is 100.
Which, yes, that was the math wasn't mathing there with what he was saying, but his point is well taken. Yes, they're actually a combined 88 years old.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it when he's been doing more of that in his matches. I've noticed too, where he did that at SummerSlam. Also, when Roman was on the apron, he's just looking up, and I think they were singing Roman's song, and so he started singing, but with his own lyrics to Roman. So like when he trash talks in the ring, I fucking love it. I think it's great.
Just let him be, bro. Just let him be.
Yeah, just let him. He's a Steiner. Yeah, just let him be a Steiner. Look, I mean, what carried the show last night was the in-ring, and there was nothing blow away, but like even the tag match with AJ and Dragon Lee against Dominic and El Grande Americano, 75% of the Triple Mania main event was in that match. I'm looking at this Triple Mania card, dude. It's just... It is
very WWE-esque, huh?
Oh, it's like NXT Mexico.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it is very heavily WWE, so that kind of gives you a glimpse into the future. But so even that match was it was solid. Yeah, it wasn't spectacular, but it was fine. And then I think there was another match on the show that I thought was
Becky,
the main event.
Becky wrestled Maxine too.
Yeah, but the main event tag match up until the shitty finish was actually pretty good. Becky and Maxine, it was what I expected it to be. It was a stepping stone. I'm sure we're going to get Becky and Natty, if not next week, maybe the week after that. Because I'm sure Paris has got to be Becky and Nikki Bella, I would imagine.
You would hope after that promo last week, yeah?
Yeah, so... And the Maxine thing is, I said this when I did my review. Maxine has improved from where she used to be.
She has.
But I can't even really gauge what that means because we don't get to see her on television ever. Ever. Like even B-Fab gets more in-ring time on Fridays than Maxine does on Mondays. And this whole thing with her and Natty and the Dungeon Dolls, I mean, that went nowhere because I don't think they've ever teamed up in a tag team match before on Raw, ever. So
they were in a gauntlet match, which nobody remembers, but it was
okay, so I don't remember that. I'm talking like a proper match. Like they've never had a single.
Yeah, it was on the way to
together.
WrestleMania. The gauntlet match that Lyra and Bayley won before Bayley got taken out at WrestleMania by Becky.
Well, then they must have been in there for all of 2 minutes because I remember that match, but I don't remember them being in that
it was
match.
60 seconds.
But the point is, like, they don't do house. They rarely do house shows anymore. So, like, how is this woman, like, what is she doing? Other than maybe, you know, training with Natty and rolling around and stuff. But that's not the same as being on a show in front of people, working matches. They don't do house shows anymore, really. So how is she supposed to really improve from where she is now if this is all she's doing? Like having one 5-minute match every 8 months or something. Like, how is someone like her supposed to get better and improve if she can't go out there and wrestle? Because where is she supposed to wrestle?
Well, she got 2 minutes usually. She went 5 minutes last night, so I guess it's an improvement, right?
I suppose so. That's one way to look at it.
I don't know, man.
And they're going to cut back even more next year on the house shows too. So that's, you know, I'm all for not running them into the ground like a meat grinder, but my God, I mean, to just basically eliminate 97% of them, I can't see that as being a good thing either.
Well, when you got all this money coming in, why run fucking middle of nowhere, bumblefuck Ohio? So it's whatever it is, you know.
I guess so. The Binghamton, New York, and Allentown, Pennsylvania,
Rochester, New York,
yeah. So let's talk about this main event.
By the way, but before we get to that, are you all right with Jay getting the main event spot at Clash in Paris? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No
yeet from the Solid Monster. Okay.
No yeet.
Okay.
That's the only reason he's in the match. You realize that?
I said that last night. Yes.
Yes, they want the full entrance in Paris, and everybody will be yeeting, and it'll be a great visual. But that is literally the only reason why. I don't even think he's in it to take the losing fall. I think LA Knight's taking the losing fall.
Oh, you really want to burn social media down, huh?
Do you disagree?
I said Jey Uso's going into Paris to do the pinfall loss. Yeah,
I think it's LA Knight.
All right, we'll see. I don't think he belongs there either. So,
of course he belongs there. He got fucked out of the championship last week. Storyline wise,
Jey Uso. I don't think Jey Uso belongs in this match.
No, but you just said, like, I don't think he has a reason to be in there either. I thought you were talking about LA Knight.
No, Jey Uso.
Yeah, no. Jey Uso has no business being in this match.
Yes, that's what I meant.
He's just. It should be a triple threat match.
Yeah,
that's it. Clearly, they're building clearly to Roman Reigns against Bronson Reed. Bronson's been stealing his shoes.
That's another thing. Oh, Roman Reigns is wrestling for his shoes back. This is creative. Yeah, sadly it is creative. Yes.
Well, I keep saying, like, Bret Hart had to beat a pirate to get his jacket back many years ago, and that's basically this is the same. This is the 2025 version of that. But yeah, the main event. So it was Punk and LA Knight against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And the match was going along fine enough. And then Seth Rollins, who was supposedly already gone, he had gotten on the jet. He didn't get on the jet. And instead, he jetted into the ring and he interfered. And the referee called for the disqualification. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, boy, you know, it feels like deja vu. And I had to go back and look. And I realized that this was the 4th straight week that we have had a disqualification in the final match on Raw. Because the first one, you'd have to go all the way back to the gauntlet match where Punk became #1 contender to get a clean winner. The week after that was July 21st. Stephanie Vicaire and Io Sky had a match. It was not technically the last segment, but it was the last match on the show. And it ended on a disqualification. And then the week after that, they did Jey Uso and Bronson Reed, which ended on a disqualification. And then they did Seth Rollins against LA Knight last week for the world title, and it ended on a disqualification. Last night ended on a disqualification.
I'm sensing a theme here.
That may be the pay-per-view that they're adding in September. It may be WWE disqualification. Maybe that's the name.
Oh my God.
This is the laziest, most creatively bankrupt bullshit that I have seen in a very long time. And they can get away with it because they can do no wrong. But like, it's just, I'm sitting here going, I feel like it's a movie that I have just watched on repeat for 4 weeks in a row. And what are we doing here? Bro, what are we doing here?
It's not even that, bro. It's the fact that the show I mentioned this. I did mention that statistic. No, I didn't mention the matches. I just mentioned the 4 straight weeks of no DQ, and then the last time we got a clean win was Punk winning the gauntlet match to Russell Gunther at SummerSlam. The problem with me is they don't give you a fucking reason to care about going into next week's show. It's like the heels are over the baby faces and they stand tall at the end of the show, and then it's the reverse way the next week, and it's like, give me a fucking reason to get excited about what's coming next week. There's no consequence. There's no repercussions for the actions that took place the prior week. There's no desire to watch the next week's show because they don't leave you in a way where it's like, oh man, what's going to happen next? Nothing happened next. There's a fucking DQ and the heel went over the babyface. What's coming next week? More of the same. Like, give me a reason to fucking care.
Well, when was the last time they left you feeling that way? Like, holy shit, like a cliffhanger type ending.
Honestly,
chaos.
when The Rock beat the shit out of Cody Rhodes outside of his tour bus, that's the last time I felt that way.
Okay, that was a year and a half ago.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's the problem.
That was a year and a half ago. Okay. So what does that tell? And that was The Rock. So you know that The Rock probably came up with that shit by himself. I don't think the creative team got together and said, hey, Rock, we got this idea. I'm sure he, had his hand in that. So, yeah, it's been a while since we've had that ending to the show or some big angle that really made you, or made me, truly excited for what was going to be coming up 7 days later. And that's the issue I have coming out of SummerSlam so far. And it's only been a week and a half, whatever. But, like, what is compelling? What is the compelling story on either of these shows right now? What is that one story or angle that really grabs you and makes you feel that way that you were just talking about? I don't see what it is.
There is none.
There is no compelling story.
I don't know what they're gonna do, bro. I really don't know. We're going into we're going into Bad Blood potentially, maybe Hell in a Cell, Survivor Series with War Games. I don't feel any desire to see these tensions settled inside these matches. I just don't.
You mean that you're not excited to see the what the MFTs are gonna do this Friday?
No.
When they show up and do exactly the same thing that they always do?
No, someone in the chat said it's my family trash. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
It's pretty brutal, but okay.
It's true. It's true though. Like I don't care, man. Nothing about this show is captivating. And I said, and I got shit off for it, Raw was in ring decent last night. The in ring aspect was decent, but the stories are more of the same. And I thought this week's show was better than last week's show. And I got shit off for it. What would you like me to say? We all know it's fucking boring, but I gotta call out some good. I enjoyed the in ring last night. What do you want me to do? I don't know. Like these reviews are getting shorter and shorter every week. When I see this guy go an hour and 20 minutes on Wednesday, you know the show's fucking boring. Seriously, that's what it's become nowadays. What do you want us to do?
Yeah,
it's nothing to talk about. All right, so this Clash in Paris show's coming up. We got this Fatal 4-Way. Punk, Rollins, LA Knight, Jey Uso. Looking forward to it. I don't know what happens. Rollins ain't losing the title. Hopefully we get something leading to Punk and Rollins maybe in a one-on-one match or something along the lines of that going into the September pay-per-view. Cena, Logan Paul. We got Becky, Nikki, supposedly. Roman Bronson for the shoes. Sammy and Solo, potentially, for the United States Championship. What am I missing? Anything else?
Did you mention Drew and Cody?
Drew and Cody. It's looking like a decent show.
Yeah, and the Paris crowd, I think, should be hot. I forgot that that's a much bigger building, so I don't know if they'll sell it out, but they'll have a good number of people. It's almost like an indoor stadium. It sounds like it's an arena. It's indoors, but it fits quite a few people more than like your typical NBA building would.
I think it's a soccer building.
Yeah. Okay. And then when they had that Backlash show last year, that was in Lyon, France. I mean, we remember the crowd for that show. So if the Paris crowd can be anything like that, just the atmosphere is going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, it should be a good card, on paper. Not all the matches are confirmed yet, but it's shaping up. It's shaping up fine, and it's my favorite kind of show. It's 2:00 in the afternoon.
Oh yeah,
it's on a Sunday, so. Two weekends in a row on my end. Because we got Forbidden Door the weekend before. I've got to figure out. I'll probably be pushing my show out a day early those 2 weekends.
And I think Raw may be taking place in Paris as well the following night.
I believe it is, and I think it's the same way with Perth. That's why I've said if Rhea gets a title match in Perth, it might not be on the Crown Jewel card. It could be on Raw.
Yeah.
Because if they end up doing the whole champion against champion thing, then it wouldn't be Rhea challenging for the women's world title. So I think that Raw after the Crown Jewel show is also in Perth. So, yeah, I mean, the international crowds, especially these places that in some cases they've never gone, like this is the first time they've ever done a pay-per-view or PLE in Paris, right? I mean, I don't remember them ever doing a show there before. They're doing television, I think, is it next week or the week after? The 22nd, I want to say. They're doing television in Dublin. First time ever they've done TV in Dublin. Now that's a SmackDown. It's not Raw, but maybe they'll find a way to get Sheamus on the show. Sheamus and Becky, they're both on Raw, but they're doing a SmackDown in Dublin. Maybe they'll be in dark matches. But yeah, that crowd should be all fired up. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to some of these earlier shows, like the tour that we had back in March.
Yeah, AEW is going to be touring going into Forbidden Door as well. I think they have a couple of shows from Glasgow. So that should be. I mean, I think they were there last year. That crowd was fucking great for Dynamite.
Yeah, and they've been selling tickets really well. I know for Forbidden Door, they've got, I think it's already over 15,000 tickets. And there was a note, might have been the Observer, but there was a note that the secondary demand for the show is as high as it's ever been. I think the cheapest ticket was the equivalent of like $700 US or something, which is insane for an AEW show. So they have their fans over there. They didn't get Wembley this year, so they're showing up here. It's going to be at the O2 in London, so I'm sure that crowd is going to be hot. So all these international shows all coming up right around the same time. You want to talk briefly about AEW?
Yeah, I got the show pulled up here. I'll let you lead the charge here. Just some of the bigger takeaways from the show. I know Briscoe and MJF main evented the show.
Yeah.
Outside that, I don't really know what else you want to touch upon. I know we have the news about MVP we'll get into.
Yeah, I mean the highlight of the show for me was the tag team tournament match. I thought that match was excellent.
Bro
It was a
Dito.
match between Bro Dito. Yes. Brody King and Bandito against the Young Bucks. I thought that was easily the highlight of the show. I thought that match was great.
Were you shocked the Young Bucks did not win and go against FTR for a fifth time?
No, I was shocked that they didn't lose to the Outrunners the week before when I thought they would lose.
Yes, that should have happened, yes.
So them not going to the finals was not a surprise to me because that match wouldn't have made any sense. Heel against heel, I don't want to see that. And now, we're in a position where you could make the argument for either FTR or Brody King and Bandito to go on to the finals, even though I think it'll be FTR. And I think it should be FTR. But if a certain someone, evidently, if these reports are to be believed, has their say in the matter, then I guess maybe it won't be FTR.
I don't know. I very much believe this report. Really, nobody's come out and really debunked MVP's apparent dislike for Speedball Mike Bailey, which I have no idea why he would dislike Speedball. Speedball seems like a cool dude. But this came from a Twitter space. I don't know. Am I pronouncing this? The Wrestling Binders J Cup 2013 Twitter space. That's where apparently Sapp said this was reported from. Fightful backed up these claims. And
wait a minute. Say that name again.
The Wrestling Binders J Cup 2013 Twitter space.
Okay,
that's what apparently it came from, and Fightful supposedly backed this all up. Sean Ross Sapp says on this space it was claimed that MVP had rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, resulting in heat, which is something that had been echoed by a number of talent for the last couple of months. Now, he says we haven't particularly heard anything regarding Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin specifically, but it's been well known backstage that MVP dislikes Speedball Mike Bailey, and a number of talent said that MVP made that clear and that he didn't want Hurt Syndicate losing to Jet Speed. Now, they did play it off on I guess a blog or a vlog that Speedball was filming, and they posted the clip to Instagram and TikTok where MVP walked up to Speedball and said, "Hey, Speedball, fuck you, Speedball." And then he looked over at Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, and he wanted them to reiterate the same thing he said, and they looked down and they said, "Fuck you, Speedball." So I don't know what it was. They were poking fun at it, but nobody really came out and debunked that it was false.
Yeah, so, I mean, nobody denied it, and honestly, I think that aspect of it is just a huge nothing burger.
Yeah,
like
who cares?
Who gives a shit? Like, not newsflash, not every person is gonna like their coworkers. Ooh, it's the drama. Like, who cares? Like, that to me, that's not even the biggest aspect of the story.
No, that was just that got people talking, but it was really the stuff that came after that was really interesting. And by the way, Hurt Syndicate should not be losing to a team like Jet Speed. I just want to make that perfectly clear, especially with the way that they were built up going into All In. No, thank you. To be clear, we were never told, says Fifel, that it was in the cards for them to lose to Jet Speed. Nobody that we spoke to knew a specific reason for MVP's dislike of Mike Bailey. Of the numerous people on the talent roster that we spoke to, they said that this year was the best that they've seen the locker room in years, and that most of the locker room just dismisses issues. Sure, whatever. There have been a number of creative pitches. We would need to be clear on the following. They're just claims we've heard within the company, and we aren't sure how far they've gotten. One of the pitches was for FTR to win at All In and start a redemption story. Now, that didn't happen. They wrestled on the pre-show against the Outrunners, and they won against the Outrunners. So I don't know what had happened there. So FTR was to win at All In and start a redemption story. I guess that means win the tag team titles at All In, but we'll get to the part of the story where they clearly didn't want that to happen.
Wait a minute. A redemption story for FTR?
Yeah. That's what the report says.
I know, but what does that mean? They would go back to being babyfaces?
No, winning getting back to the tag team championships. I guess that's what
I hear. Okay, I mean, I hear redemption story. That to me is that's a babyface thing.
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way, but I think in this meaning it means that FTR have been chasing the tag team titles. They feel like they should be in contention. They won matches, and they need to get back to that and win the titles.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a very weird thing the way that whole thing went down, because to me it made all the sense in the world to turn that match. Because remember, they put the patriarchy in there. They stuck them in there.
Yeah, and
it's like, okay, that's weird, but okay, they'll add FTR, and then maybe that way also you can have the Hurt Syndicate drop the belts without taking the losing fall. FTR could get the belts, and that way when they eventually wrestle Cope and Christian, it could be for the tag team titles, because I could see them wanting that to be a title match in Toronto. And instead, they wrestled the Outrunners for a second time on the pre-show, beat them, and then they did commentary for the title match.
And then they did the angle after the tag team title match.
And even then, I was like, this is weird. So I can totally believe that they were going to be in the match, and then something happened that pulled them out of it. That to me makes sense, because it was just weird the way it all played out.
Yeah, and if FTR was in that match, they should have absolutely walked out as the tag team champions for sure. FTR was pitched to face Swerve and Ospreay as well, but Ospreay's injury derailed all of his creative plans after All In, because he announced that he has 2 herniated discs in his neck, and we don't know the severity of the issue. He said he'll be back by Forbidden Door, but he really made it sound like it was going to be a lot longer than that. FTR
Forbidden Door 2026.
Yeah, that's exactly what he meant, but he was talking about this year's show, but we'll see what happens there. FTR would go on to then face Cope and Christian down the line for the tag team championships. The claim internally was that Hurt Syndicate said no to losing to FTR at both All In and Forbidden Door. Now, Forbidden Door is coming up in a couple of weeks. All In just happened. So that's the part that really got people talking, and I got shit for saying that several top talents there, especially major names, have some sort of creative influence and creative control in that company. You know, and I know I joked about it with Jason last week because we read just a snippet of this as it was being broken last week. Bro, I don't listen. I know nobody has creative control in their contracts, and that would be ridiculous if it was in their contracts. But I don't know how you look at this and say this is not some form of creative control, because if the Hurt Syndicate are outwardly saying to Tony Khan, no, we're not losing to FTR at All In and at Forbidden Door, I don't know what the fuck you call that. And I genuinely don't know why Tony is paying these talents to wrestle for him. He's supposed to be the end-all, be-all, yet we have MVP Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin telling Tony Khan what they will and will not do. I don't know how you look at that but creative control, and I think that's fucking ridiculous that they're allowed to do that and Tony does nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, if Tony wants FTR to be the tag team champions, then they should be the tag team champions. That's it. That's certainly not something that MVP should be in a position to say, nah, you know what, we're not going to do that. Unless he has some level of influence that we are unaware of, that is contractual in nature. And I don't imagine that that's the case, but who knows? If it is, then good for him. I mean, that's on Tony then. I mean, if he's dumb enough to give it to him or anybody else. But let's assume that's not the case. I just don't understand. I mean, if this is part of a longer term plan that Tony has for those titles or for FTR, then that's it. Like, it's settled and you're going to drop the titles to FTR, period, end of story. I mean, part of that report was that again, this is all, we don't know this is fact, but this is part of the report also, was that I think instead of FTR, right, the names floated were Gates of Agony,
yeah,
Outrunners,
yep,
or Private Party,
yeah,
which just, I just shook my head when I heard that, because Private Party, I mean, they're still trying to climb out of the grave, okay, after the way that
have you seen what Mark Quinn looks like nowadays?
I have, yes.
My God.
No, actually, it was Cassidy.
Was it? One of them, man. They look like...
It was Isaiah. No, it was Isaiah, because they made an appearance at House of Glory. And, man, he's the best shape I've ever seen him in.
I don't know, man. He's getting ready for something over there. I don't know what it is.
He's getting ready for something, but you know what? Like, the way that they were treated and the way that tag team title run they had was treated was just an abomination. And it would be very hard for me to envision just all of a sudden they're back on TV and they're back in the tag team title picture. I would love it for them, but I don't see it. I mean, they were so badly damaged and just cast aside last time. It just didn't do them any favors. So none of those teams, I mean, the Outrunners, I was holding out hope that the Outrunners would at least go to the finals of this tournament, and maybe they would win, and maybe they would get a title shot that way. But they got bounced out of the first round, so that's obviously not happening. FTR is the team that makes the most sense.
Yes.
Right? It's not even Brody King and Bandito. They're a good team. But I don't see that as being any sort of like long-term direction for them as tag team champions. And Bandito's already the Ring of Honor world champion. It just doesn't make any sense to me. FTR makes the most sense. If that is who Tony Khan wants, it's not up to MVP. MVP is not booking the show.
See,
he's not writing the show. That's Tony Khan's job.
Yeah.
And Tony Khan, if he wants FTR, that's it. It's done. That doesn't matter what MVP wants. Why should it matter what MVP wants in this situation? It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't matter what he wants. In the same vein where they mentioned Gates of Agony, Outrunners, a Private Party, the discussion also said, or this report said, the discussion was leading to also Hurt Syndicate being open to losing to Swerve and Will Ospreay. Now, I was told, I can't say who, that was the direction before Will Ospreay announced that he was injured. I was told that was going to be the tag team title match, because we have said a lot of times on this platform and individually that FTR, Cope, and Christian do not need the tag team titles. It doesn't. Tony wants to do the tag team title match because he wants to mark out with Edge and Christian winning the tag team championships. Fine. But if what I'm reading here is correct, and Swerve and Ospreay were going to challenge the Hurt Syndicate, and MVP would have been okay to drop the title to Swerve and Ospreay, it sounds like, Jason, that MVP is very protective over who Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin lose to, just based on aesthetically what they look like. He feels like he needs to protect his boys, because a lot of what AEW is a lot smaller stature and pro wrestler compared to Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I mean, they look like legit fucking badasses and superstars. So I mean, if you lose the championships in a match to someone fucking 1/4 of the size of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, I feel like MVP is going to take that as like, no, man, we can't do that. So that's why he mentioned Swerve and Ospreay. Yeah, we lose the titles to them because they're bigger dudes. They're legit guys.
But it's okay to lose the titles then to Private Party or the Outrunners.
I don't know where that part of the report, that's the only part of the report that doesn't make sense to me, because they've already buried those teams already. Like, why was that even included?
Yes, they've beaten them already. But what I'm getting at is, if you're talking about the aesthetics of it, like I don't understand why, if it's like, okay, we're okay with Swerve and Ospreay, but like they're okay with Private Party or the Outrunners. Like, what's so convincing, if that's the argument here? What's so physically convincing of like, oh yeah, the Outrunners, we could see the Outrunners beating Bobby Lashley.
Maybe the Gates of Agony are a little, I mean, they're bigger dudes, maybe.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense though. Like the Hurt Syndicate, no matter how much they might be cheered when they come out and people sing their song, they're heels. It's a heel faction.
For now.
Gates of Agony are heels. They just paired them up with Ricochet. So,
but you don't think MVP is very conscious of like who Bobby Lashley should and should not lose to? I mean, I think that's the case here.
But why is he in a position where he would have any sort of influence over the final decision? He could have input into things, but like the way this report was written, it was like he's rejected pitches for this. He's rejected this. He's not in a position to reject anything.
Bro, he knows where he's working. He knows the environment is working, and he knows he can get away with this shit.
And why does FTR has no credibility?
That's what I said. That's the fucking part that sticks out to me most. It's bad to lose to FTR. They're the most legit tag team they got.
They're multiple-time tag team champions. They're one of the best tag teams in the entire company, and they're not legitimate enough to go in there and lose or to beat the Hurt Syndicate. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
It's just idiotic. It's idiotic. If he wants FTR to win the tag team titles, that title change should happen at Forbidden Door. If it doesn't happen at Forbidden Door, then that speaks to a much larger issue when it comes to Tony Khan and what's going on here behind the scenes.
Well, I guess, I mean, we could piece the puzzle together. This is also coming from The Observer. Meltzer talked about the on-screen partnership with MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. That was originally intended to be a much longer storyline, but the angle was cut off so quickly due to a request from within the group, the Hurt Syndicate. In the latest edition of the newsletter, Meltzer reported a recent creative discussion at AEW, noting that the alliance with MJF and Hurt Syndicate was supposed to last much longer. According to the report, the decision to end the angle early was not an MVP request, but supposedly from another member of the group. I mean, I could see MJF costing the Hurt Syndicate the tag team titles at Forbidden Door, which gives them to FTR.
Maybe it was the guy who threw MJF up against the locker a few weeks ago and said, "I don't want you in our group anymore."
It did end abruptly. I mean, we see where it's going, but it did end abruptly because he didn't really do anything while in the group. What did he do?
I mean, they didn't tap into the full potential of what they could have done, even in some segments, even outside the ring. I think there was some fun stuff they could have done there. So, yeah, it ended very abruptly. The destination, though, was always going to be him, whether it was a miscommunication that cost them the tag team titles or they just get sick of his shit and they bounce him like they did. But they just sort of, pushed the timeline up on that. But I think it also made very clear there's no heat with MJF and anybody in the group.
No.
It's just that they wanted him out. And so he's out. And, yeah, I could see him factoring into the title match and sort of costing them at Forbidden Door. Whoever they wrestle, if they do drop the belts, I don't see them losing straight up. There's going to have to be someone getting involved or something, some shenanigans of some kind that results in them losing those tag team titles. MJF sticking his nose in their business after the way they embarrassed him and bounced him out. To me, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then maybe we get Bobby Lashley versus MJF at All Out. I don't know where that is going to go. What do you make of the MJF Mark Briscoe situation? MJF beat Mark Briscoe, so I guess coming out of last week's show, we're headed towards MJF versus Hangman at Forbidden Door for the World Championship, but at the same time, he still has that contract. So what type of situation are we looking at? Does Hangman beat MJF and then he cashes in to win the championship after losing? What's going on there?
I think that's what I would be leaning towards right now. I mean, I was wondering, because the way the match ended on Wednesday, there was some controversy, right? I think Briscoe's foot was on the rope and the ref didn't see it.
Yeah,
right?
MJF shoved it away, yeah.
Shoved it away. What I would rather not see, honestly, is like a three-way match where they throw Briscoe in there. If you're going to do the match, it should be Hangman against MJF. And they're doing a face-to-face tomorrow night. So I suspect whatever that main event's going to be, we'll know. Unless they're going to run back MJF and Briscoe one more time. They can get one more TV match out of it. They could always do that, I suppose. I'm not sure Briscoe's completely out of this scenario yet. I just don't think a triple threat. I mean, why does it need to be a three-way? I wouldn't like that direction if that's the one they pursued.
I don't know. I just don't see Mark Briscoe as a world championship caliber guy. I don't know.
He's very popular, and I don't have anything against him. But him in the main event of Forbidden Door for the world title, no thank you.
No.
So it should be Hangman and MJF, and maybe we'll get that confirmed tomorrow. It still strikes me, though, we have a couple weeks left, but like you look at this Forbidden Door card, and
it's not so forbidden.
Nothing, no, not really forbidden at all.
The concept is dead, bro. The concept is dead. I don't know. I get why they do it because it's a brand where they're selling tickets, but the concept itself is fucking lost.
No, I mean, the concept is not dead because they've sold 15,000 tickets based off the concept of the show. So I can't say it's dead. Is it
creatively it's dead. Let's be honest.
Does it mean what it meant 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was when they first did the first one? No, because we get Forbidden Door type matches on TV every week almost.
You don't like Tomohiro Ishii every week on Collision?
I like Tomohiro Ishii. I don't like him every single week doing the same basic matches against the same people on Collision. No. But they have talent from New Japan and CMLL and Stardom almost every week. So it loses its luster. And now WWE, of course, is also working with other they're promoting fucking Triple Mania on their show because they own them now. Like, a lot has changed in the 3 years I think it's been since the Forbidden Door concept became a thing. But like on the show, I think Tanahashi, they have said nothing about Tanahashi, but I believe he is wrestling what will be his final UK match on that show. We don't know against who. I was thinking that if Ospreay is going to try to come back for a match, that might be it. Like, I think Tanahashi would be a high profile but safe opponent for him. I don't think he should be in the ring, frankly, based on what he said the last time we saw Ospreay on TV. But I was thinking about that. I wonder if they would do something like Ospreay and Tanahashi as his final UK opponent. But outside of that, dude, look at this card. I mean, the G1, we're in the middle of the G1 right now. The G1 doesn't wrap up until the week before. Yeah. So if you want to get some of these people on TV to make an appearance, there may be matches that they can't announce until like less than a week before the pay-per-view. Yeah. As far as any sort of New Japan versus AEW type stuff. But it's potentially Hangman MJF, Darby and Mox, which Darby made it pretty clear he wants the match at Forbidden Door. He also said this week in an interview with Steve-O that he wants to go to space. So,
well, you just mentioned two matches that aren't announced yet, and we've already got possibly 7 matches on the card.
Yes.
That'll be 9.
Well, the Hurt Syndicate Tag Team title match is on there as well.
Yep. Okada Swerve.
Okada Swerve for the unified title.
Storm Athena. Mercedes Alex Windsor. Yep. And someone from CMLO, which we don't know. And then Stardom, which we don't know. Kyle Fletcher issued an open challenge on Collision against someone from New Japan. And apparently Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be wrestling Nigel McGuinness. Well,
Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be wrestling the winner of a 4-way match that's taking place on Collision this weekend. And this is a hard field to choose from.
We got Nigel McGuinness, bro.
Nigel McGuinness is in the 4-way. You know who else is in the 4-way? We have Hechicero is in the 4-way. Daniel Garcia is in the 4-way. And Lee Moriarty is in the 4-way.
That's the guy. He's going to Forbidden Door, bro.
You think he's going after the IWGP title?
Lee Moriarty versus Zack Sabre Jr.
I can. The sarcasm is dripping from you. Yeah, so it'll be Nigel McGuinness challenging for the IWGP.
Should I bring a pillow to Forbidden Door?
Are you doubting the ability of Nigel McGuinness? I mean,
I don't know, man. I'm not really interested in anything outside of maybe the tag team title match, quite honestly, and Tony Storm and Athena. I can't forget that. Outside that, I don't really care.
Well, I mean, who the 4-way on the women's 4-way on Wednesday? Who qualified again for
Alex
AEW?
Windsor?
Alex Windsor, right? So then we have CMLL, and then we have Stardom.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. That's the card so far as it stands.
Who's Kyle Fletcher wrestle? Gabe Kidd?
Now, is it specifically a New Japan talent?
That's what it says here.
Shingo?
Could be.
Shingo Takagi, maybe? Maybe it's Tomohiro Ishii. Maybe he's gonna come
he wrestled him 2 weeks ago on Collision.
Maybe he'll wrestle him again. I don't know. It's an open challenge. Anybody can accept the open challenge.
Maybe it's Minoru Suzuki, bro.
He's not with New Japan. He's a freelancer.
Whatever. You know they love their Suzuki over there.
They do. I mean, there's room for him. I don't know. I don't know who it's gonna be. Gabe Kidd had a knee injury. I don't know how serious it was. So if he's physically able, I suppose it could be Gabe Kidd. Last time we saw Gabe Kidd, he was a heel. He was aligned with the Death Riders.
Gabe Kidd's hurt, all right? Now listen, it should be an exciting crowd. I'm looking forward to the 16,000 in the O2. The car is too, a little, I don't know, a little boring to me. A lot to be desired there, but we'll see what happens. We'll be here covering it, and it's a 2 p.m. show, so 3 p.m. show. You can't go wrong with that. But we're going to get into your super chats. That's all we got for you. Thank you guys very much for joining us here on another riveting episode of TNT. It's episode 107. We had 2,800 people in here. on this Tuesday night. Thank you guys very much. We got 900 likes. If you guys want to get another 100 in, we'd hit 1,000. So if you guys want to do that for us, we would greatly appreciate it. And please follow us on social media and YouTube. Everything you need is linked down below. And super chats, they will remain open, which we are going to get into right now. Hannah with a $4.99. The rumor is WWE's holding a PLE during All Out. I highly doubt it, considering it's next month. If so, which would you watch out of the two first? Well, I think we talked about that earlier, Hannah. I'm going to go watch the WWE show because, honestly, and I know people are going to take this out of context, and I'm very much going to give you my honest take here. The WWE PLE will get more as far as views and retention on YouTube, so that's what I'm going with. And I'll catch the AEW show after the fact. There you go.
Yeah, it's TBD.
TBD.
I don't know. I don't know, but I will say I just see Ariel Helwani tweeted. Did you see this a few hours ago?
No.
It's a picture of Kross saying TikTok. It says Wednesday live in studio.
I'm sure some dirt's going to be spread there. That's what he does.
We'll see.
See what happens. Hardcore Kevin with the $2 super chat. Yo, JD Solo, what's your favorite hot dog toppings? I am a straight mustard guy, Hardcore Kevin. Spicy mustard.
Mustard and sauerkraut.
There you go. Sidro with 35 months. We got a few Sidros here. 35 months. Thank you, brother. Finally got help with my ATM addiction, but I went through withdrawals first. And there was a big sale on paddles at the boat store. It was quite an ordeal. All right, Sidro, you're off to a good start, bro. $5 super chat by Sidro. Only a genius can say these 4 words 4 times really fast without getting tongue twisted. Say it fast. I am stupid. Hashtag got him.
You didn't get me.
Yes. Thank you, Sidro. $10 super chat. When I moved into my new igloo, my friends threw me a surprise housewarming party. Now I'm homeless. You got him. It didn't take long at all, man. Google is a bad influence. I searched how to become an arsonist. It gave me 50,000 matches. Thank you, Sidro. The igloo one was very good. Mr. Premium 2002 with a $4.99. Braves vs. Mets going head-to-head with a Tuesday Night Titan show tonight. How fitting. No, not really fitting at all. I don't give a fuck if they won or lost, man. My season's over.
I get more pleasure out of the TNT show than I do the Mets at this point.
Mr. Premium also with a $1.99. So is LA Knight on the Raw roster now? Yes. He is. Why? Nobody knows. They do what they want. Mr. Premium with a 20 in Super Chat. What if Rey Mysterio returned at Triple Mania and turned on Dragon Lee to help Dominic win the AAA Championship? Helps advertise AAA to the American viewers and makes a dull storyline with the Judgment Day a little bit more interesting.
Rey Mysterio will be at the event on Saturday, but he is there to induct Conan into the Hall of Fame. I don't think that is indicative of him turning heel on that show.
And by the way, on commentary will be Corey Graves, and joining him is John Bradshaw Layfield, bro.
An expert on Lucha Libre.
Yes, JBL.
JBL, yes.
One of the worst announcers of all time, in my opinion, but
really?
I don't like him. Ango, I saw your show today, bro. You thought JBL was a great commentator, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Seriously. Great? I don't think he's great. Is he knowledgeable? Sure, but not someone I want to listen to. Sidro with a 5. I once got fired from a new job for asking customers if they preferred smoking or non-smoking. Apparently, it's cremation or burial. $5 super chat, Sidro. Went for an interview at IKEA. Manager greeted me by saying, "Come in, make a seat." What's the name of the man who always is well prepared? Just in case. All right, bro. You got him at least once. William Bellin with a 10. JD, I've been listening to Alter Bridge all day. Thank you for recommending them. Started with Fortress and then listened to Blackbird. Can't wait to hear the new material tomorrow. William, I am very proud of you, brother. Thank you very much. Great band, as you guys know. I do not think they do have a new album coming out in January. They've been teasing it for weeks now. I don't think tomorrow's announcement is new music, because they posted on their Instagram stories that it is not new music. So I don't know what it is. It might be a box set, or it might be U.S. tour dates and unveiling the U.S. tour, because they are going to the United Kingdom and Europe, surrounding countries in January with the release of the album. I don't know what they're doing as far as the U.S., but I think it may be that or a box set. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Actually, maybe at 12. If it's new music, you get it on Spotify at 12 o'clock. Sidro, $5 super chat. I recently took a poll. Found out 99% of the people in the tent were angry when it collapsed. And what's a moth's favorite beer?
Oh, I know. Light beer.
Miller Lite.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Jason,
You could have just said that you're right. I mean, I was technically. I got the punchline. I was Miller Lite. It's fucking light beer.
Sidro, if he's getting the punchline before I read it, man, then it's not a good joke, bro. Come on. Alan Alec with the $2 super chat. Netflix and VPN is the way to go. Most convenient. Yes, that's something that you guys should definitely look into for sure. Angel, thank you again, brother, for the $200 super chat. It's a lot of money, brother. We appreciate you being here as always. Thank you. Boss Top with a $199. $30. 5-match PLEs makes AEW more appealing. Yeah, I did say that. I don't think it's going to happen, but I hope the quality of the matches is better and we get more for our money. If they're going to do 6 matches, possibly 7 matches for these shows, I don't think that's going to happen, but I hope. Do you think they raised the match limit on the PLEs now that they're going to be charging more or no?
No.
No?
No.
Same old 5-match PLEs?
They got their money, dude.
Yep. Base Beers with a 2. Can't wait for the TurboTax logo on a Money in the Bank briefcase. I would not be surprised one of these.
They had the last 2 years. They've had the Cash App logo on there.
Yeah. I actually kind of find that kind of funny that the General Car Insurance was sponsoring the CM Punk and Gunther match at SummerSlam. Those little inside jabs are nice. I like that. Joker's Voice with the 10 months. Hail JD, Solo, and the OTS family. My concern is less about $29.99. It's partnering with Disney. $1.6 billion deal without the mouse involved. JMO and Ginger for me. I love a JMO and Ginger, bro. Thank you. Do you think Disney has any say on what happens over the next 5 years, Jason, or no?
In what way? Creatively?
Yeah. What they want to see on the show?
No.
Okay. I know some people worry about that. That's why I asked. Matt Fisher with the $199. This show is way better than Thunder. WCW Thunder?
Yeah. That's obvious, but I mean, that's a random comment to make.
Thank you, Matt. Edward with the $4.99.
Maybe he meant Thunder in Paradise.
I don't know. It's a tough one. Mickey Mouse calls his lawyer. Lawyer says, you can't divorce Minnie just because she is crazy. Mickey says, I didn't say that. I said she was fucking goofy. All right, Edward. We're getting into the comedy stick now, too. Michelle Moran with a $2 super chat. Will we ever get Punk Roman? If so, when and how? Not this year, I don't think. I think there'll be allies of sorts going into War Games. More of the same, just like we got last year. BB with a $10 super chat coming to us from Australia. Hi. MJF and Hangman could get one-on-one promo time on Dynamite, but the women's champ and Athena gets none. Instead, we have to wait for a sex innuendo promo from Toni Storm. That says nothing. Yeah, I guess. They don't have any segment planned for Athena and Toni Storm? Maybe next week.
They might, but well, I mean, Tony is not announcing a lot of things now in advance, so we don't know. keeping a lot of things close to the vest the day of the show, so we don't have the full lineup yet.
Yeah, which is a little weird, but I wouldn't do it that way. But he thinks that apparently the engagement is greater on the day of the show. So, Sidro with a 2. What do you call a beehive with no exit? Unbelievable. Not a good one, Sidro. Boss Stop with a 199. Hardys versus Team 3D was made to counter the ENC reunion. Nah. It's on TNA in October, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it ties into the 25-year anniversary of TLC, so yeah, I don't see that one.
Tone C with a $5 super chat. The cat I've been feeding and hanging out with in my backyard for the last couple of months just had kittens. Any advice? If you can't physically take care of them and give them a home inside where you are, find a reputable cat shelter that will take them in, and they will find a foster for them. I have another cat upstairs that I have not named yet, so she is just coming along now. She was terrified of humans, and it's taken me like 4 weeks to get this cat to get me to pet her. So it's working, but you're doing a good thing, man. Please find a shelter or a place that takes fosters in and get them a good home. Duff's Viz with a $4.99. I broke my finger a couple days ago. It hurts. On the other hand, I'm okay.
Okay. Simple, but it's respectable.
Duff's Viz with a $4.99. What is it called when a chickpea gets murdered? Homicide. Thank you, Duffs. Appreciate you, man. David M., thank you again, brother, for the 100 in super chat earlier. Sidro with a 2. What do you call an alligator in court? A litigator. That's a good one, man. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Rio Champ with a $5 super chat. Hey, fellas, this one is for Solomonster. Between AEW and WWE, who's having a better year creatively and why? That's a tough question, bro.
I mean, I can't say. Well, yeah. I mean, I can't say this year has been the best creative year. Honestly, I mean, when I think back to the key stories this year, the stuff with I've enjoyed the stuff with Hangman. On the AEW end, that's kind of been, for me anyway, probably the main thing. I did not enjoy the Death Rider stuff, and the Death Rider stuff really took up a good chunk of their year so far. So for that reason, I probably would go WWE, but I don't say that with great enthusiasm in my voice.
No. Outside,
it's not really. Yeah, it's not really much of a victory.
Yeah. Yeah, the Death Rider stuff really took a lot out of the AEW stuff. When Hangman and Swerve were on TV, that was great television. MJF and the Hurt Syndicate stuff in the early stages, and him trying to get initiated into the group, that was good stuff. I can't really, and the Owen Hart tournament was great. Outside of those 3 instances, I can't really sit here and tell you that AEW's done anything great. WWE has not done anything great either, but I'm a little I'm gonna go undecided right now. I'm gonna wait to see how the rest of the year pans out before I give an answer. But if I was to choose one over the other, I'd probably go WWE and give the same answer that Jason gave. I'm just very unenthusiastic right now. Grant with a $5 super chat. Do you think Stokely Hathaway is an underrated manager? I think he's pretty funny and entertaining. I think Stokely's great.
Yeah, Stokely is great. What did he say on Wednesday? He started getting very animated. He goes,
he's something about not getting any hoes.
I'm short. I'm bald. I don't get any bitches.
Yeah,
right. That was it.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, that'll be that's a. I'm glad I said that. But like, yeah. So I mean, Stokely has been a funny guy for a long time, and now that he's with, pretty recognizable team, he's getting more television time than I think he's ever gotten on AEW TV before. Now he's wrestling. He's wrestling Adam Copeland tomorrow night. So I'm sure he'll make that entertaining. So yeah, Stokely's great.
Sidro with a $5 super chat. Did you know Superman goes to a Bitcoin meetup at 8 p.m. every Thursday? It's his crypto night. You got him, bro. You got him. He says, I was diagnosed with sausage phobia. I fear the worst. Oh, man. That's a long time coming, man. You got two bangers back to back here. Look at that. Boss Top Riches with a 199. Karrion Kross is not worth working fans over. We'll see what he says next Wednesday on the Ariel Helwani show. You know, Ariel's going to get something out there that's going to cause some buzz for sure. Sidro with a $2 super chat. Kross is at a crossroads, and I ain't talking Cody. He is. Lavelle with a 5. Should AW start counter-programming WWE in return? No, Lavelle. That would not work out well for AEW. Oh. Yeah, let's move Dynamite to Mondays, man, and go ahead there with Monday Night Raw. Sure. Would they benefit? And if WWE did this in 2019 when AEW was hot, would things be different? Yes, I think AEW would have stood a chance against WWE around that time. For sure.
Well, because back then WWE wasn't exactly creatively lighting the world on fire. So,
Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. Do you guys think that Karrion got sabotaged by Triple H or TKO? It sucks that he's no longer there. If the fans chant his name, WWE should pay attention. I don't know, man. We talked about it extensively here tonight. I don't know what else we need to say. The mentality in the company is exactly what I feel it is. It has been for years. You get over and they punish you for it. If it's not in their cards and you get over against their creative, it's not a good look for them. And they punish you for it. And if fans chant his name, would WWE pay attention? I mean, what else does the guy got to do? And the fans aren't going to chant his name. They would have chanted it yesterday. Nothing happened. Sam with a 999. I'm really conflicted with what to think about all this. I want to enjoy stuff, but everything just seems bleak now with WWE. I just wish everything was a bit different. I mean, you could say the same thing about anything, man. Jason, do you feel like something that you've liked for so long has kind of gotten worse in today's day and age? Because I know, it's happening with gaming. I mentioned Call of Duty on the stream Friday. A lot of people are looking at Battlefield 6 coming out, Call of Duty coming out. Call of Duty's gotten worse every single year, and I've been a big COD guy, but I'm putting my foot down, man. I'm not buying the next game, which is Black Ops 7. Speak with your wallet. Hit them where it hurts. I mean, everything just seems to get worse the more these publishers and these developers just don't listen to the fan base. I mean, money's just taking over, and people just greedy. It's ruining everything.
Was Black Ops 6 that bad?
Yes. It was very bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels to me like, at least in terms of WWE, it's very, very corporate, very homogenized. There's a certain spark to it that isn't there anymore. It's not that it's like all bad and I don't enjoy any of it, but like, do I enjoy it in the same way that I once did? I don't. It's just, it does have a different feeling now, right? Where it's become more mainstream, and it seems to be more about that than a real focus on great stories and making the show as fun as possible.
There's no risk. They don't take any risk.
They play it safe.
Yeah.
Well, they play it safe a lot. I mean, they'll have their big surprises every now and then, like you saw at the end of SummerSlam, each night. And that's what they go for now. They go for those big moments on some of these shows, and that's where a lot of their focus is. But for those of you who are like us, who watch these shows on a week-to-week basis and are in the trenches, watching all these shows, they don't give you as much as they should, I think, to really get excited about. And they do feel like they hold back. They play it safe a lot.
Yeah, I feel like they're really sold on the moment, and they don't really care about getting you to the moment. And I always felt like the journey to the moment is what makes the moment special.
Part.
Yeah.
Well, that's the fun. That should be the fun part. Should be getting there.
Yeah. They just want to go right there. They don't give a fuck. Base Bears with the $2 super chat. Is Bret Hart top 10 GOAT? Well, this guy's number one. I would put him. Is he in my top 10? Yes. Top 3, maybe. All time. Top 5 for sure. I mean, there's never going to be anybody like him ever.
Yeah, I mean, top 10 is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Whether or not he's number 1 or number 2 or 3, top 3 easily.
Yeah.
But 10, I mean, my God, of course, top 10.
Tyler Floyd with a 1999. Thank you, brother. What did one lesbian vampire say to the other one? See you next month. Nobody laughed, huh? Okay. Tyler, thank you, brother. The Boss Mo Jackson with a 199. Another great TNT, my number 1 show. Thumbs up. My brothers. Thank you, man.
Thank you, dude.
Patches with a $10 super chat. Patches 127. I don't think this is the case, but in some universe, could you see Brock being Rock's new hired gun to get revenge on Cena for flipping back face, leading to Cena versus Rock for John Cena's final match?
No. No.
Yes, in a fantasy realm, yes, Patches, but no. No. Boss Mo Jackson with a 499. I seen this MK joke online. Yo mama's so fat, Scorpion says, stay over there. Yo mama's so fat, Sub-Zero says, I cannot evade you. I chuckled at this. You may be the only one,
did?
bro. No,
he did.
No, Boss Mo Jackson chuckled.
I thought you said you did.
No, no. Base Beerus with a 2 and a 2. Sans Yeet and 2 DQs in a row is lazy. 4? Yes, 4. 4. And there may be another one next week.
Can they make it 5?
Lavelle with a 5. JD, I disagree with you guys about Jey Uso in the Fatal 4-Way. He was the one who got the pinfall win in the tag team match at SummerSlam with Roman. So what does that mean? He gets a championship match because he won the tag team match for Roman? I don't think so, man. We've been there, done that, man. Let him yeet and keep him out of the world title picture. Base Beers with a 2. What the funk are you drinking tonight? Me, water, man, because for some reason during these 90-degree days, I just have a struggle staying hydrated. I don't know. What are you drinking tonight? Jack and Coke?
No, I got water.
Okay.
Because it's freaking hot out.
Big Haas with a 5. Obafemi is the next Brock Lesnar. Braun Breaker is the next Batista. Who's the next Cena and Orton? The Pinnacle, MJF, Wardlow, FTR would be a perfect WWE SmackDown faction. Well, being that the last part of that's not going to happen, who's the next Cena and Orton? I don't know.
See, I don't like these questions just because I hate to make these comparisons. Like, I don't want the next Cena or Orton. I want the first, whoever it's going to be. And let them carve out their own path. Maybe they could be bigger than them.
Miles Bourne. How about Miles Bourne being the next Orton? He's got the look down.
Well, if you're going to go by that, yeah, he's a dead ringer for Randy Orton. But
he don't need to wrestle a day in his life, bro. He's won already.
He has, yes.
Isla Vaynol with a 199. Happy Titan Tuesday. Favorite Brock Lesnar quote. What did he say during that one UFC show where he came out and said he's going to fuck his wife while drinking a Budweiser or something like that? That was pretty funny.
Oh, that maybe that was after UFC 100. No, there was a quote. God, was it before the? Was it on Raw before the WrestleMania match with Undertaker? I swear this is what he sounded like. He was standing in the ring and he was like, remember he said like, let's do this, but he said it like,
let's do this?
Yes, I remember that, yes.
Dude, like that raise in his voice, like where the hell did that come from? Like, let's do this? Like he was asking a question. He wasn't making a statement. And I was like, that is just comedy gold right there.
Now you know why they paired him with Paul Heyman all those years, man.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Duff's Viz with a 199. What do sweet potatoes wear to bed? Yammies. Thank you, Duff's Vids. Base Beers with a 2. Party's over, Grandpa.
Oh, that was a good one. Yes.
Orndorff laughing.
That was Hogan had a birthday party in the ring, and Brock and Heyman came out. He walked right up to Hogan and said, "Party's over, Grandpa." And then don't forget, you forgot about that. Yes. And then don't forget about how could I forget about the Heath Slater quote? "I don't give a shit about your kids."
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one too.
Oh my God, man! Where did these? This got to be one of your guys, man. Give.
Spit it out.
Oh no! Give me Backshots Solomonster with the $1.99. Is this one of you guys?
That's getting clipped.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's one of mine.
Big fan of you guys. Keep up the great work. Says, give me Backshots. Yeah, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Yes, that's appreciate that.
Thank you, brother.
You guys are crazy, man. I swear to God. True Crime Unleashed with it, too. Lola Vice got a new contract over Kross and Scarlett. Well, I don't think Damian Priest would have it any other way, bro. There you go. She's good. She's good. Hopefully she gets, she's going to be on that AAA show, too. So we'll see her on Saturday. Duff Zizzle, the $4.99. Have you heard of the new sport called quiet tennis? It's like normal tennis, but without the racket. There you go. Clever. Sadie N-word. With a $1.99. Seth. Maybe this is another one of you guys. I don't know. $1.99. Seth Rollins, I'm coming for you, boy, and I'm coming hard. Is that, is that a Brock quote, too?
that is a Brock quote.
Oh, my goodness.
That is I forgot about that.
Bobby Means with a $5 super chat. Outside of the Braves, seeing how you are a fellow New Yorker, have you gone to any Knicks games? Well, what is your favorite color? I've never been to a NBA game in my life, Bobby. My favorite color is black, like my soul. But I like all colors, man. I'll wear dark purple, salmon pink. I love blue, red. I'm anything but yellow. I will not wear yellow. What's your favorite color, bro?
I think you should wear yellow on one of these streams now. That's what I think you should do.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Okay. Duff's Vids with $4.99. What looks like half a tree? The other half.
Of course.
And which side of the cat is hairy? The outside. All right. Hunter's Hybrid with a 5. I guess Big Jim got jealous of Naomi's success, and he said, I'll fix her ass. Yeah.
Oh, it's four letters, 2 words. You got to do it right, man.
I guess Big Jim did not proceed with caution, huh?
Supposedly.
We'll see. Baby Huey with a $4.99. Who's the WWE man and woman superstars of the year so far? EO for the women. Man superstar of the year? That's a good question. Man, I want to say Punk.
I would go EO or maybe
you know what? I'm gonna go Braun Breaker.
All right. Maybe I was thinking maybe Rollins. Just
That's
when you look
one.
at the year he had that great match, the triple threat of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He won Money in the Bank. He won the World Heavyweight Championship. So, EO for sure. But Seth and I could be persuaded to.
I don't know. It's a toss up between Rollins and Punk, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to go with Rollins.
Yeah, I think that's the right choice. Can't go wrong with that. B Money with a $4.99. How likely is it that WWE schedules John Cena's last match head-to-head against the AEW pay-per-view in December? And if so, which one would you decide to watch? That's a possibility. Well, Jason tends to think that they're staying with that original date that they had speculated on. John Cena's father, which is the 13th of December. If it ends up falling on the same day as World's End, I'm watching John Cena's retirement, 100%. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I would too.
Yeah. Nick Morris with a $5 super chat. Solo, F, marry, kill. David Wright, Darryl Strawberry, or Pete Alonso? That's a trick question, bro.
It is a trick question because I'm not going to answer that question. So there you go.
Thank you, Nick Morris. Duff's Viz with a $4.99. My wife called me and said she saw a fox on the way to work. I asked her, how do you know the fox was on its way to work? She hung up on me. The Bard with a 5. JD, do you have a P.O. box? When are you coming back to Orlando? I do not, Bard. I'd love to come back to Orlando. I love Florida. We'll see. Hunter's Hybrid with a 5. Thoughts on the WWE women having their own weekly show? I bet it would draw more viewers than the WNBA. We have enough programming as it is, bro. No. I will take another Evolution, though.
I mean, the women on most weeks recently have been carrying the main shows. I wouldn't want to take them off those to add another show and then leave us with what on the other shows?
Leave us with fucking the MFTs.
Oh, my God.
Major with a 9.99. After watching Unreal, the wrestlers are held back and can't really wrestle freely. They are robots taking inputs from users and producers. That explains why some matches seem more boring than others. Yeah, you can tell that a lot of it is overly scripted, man. That's the one takeaway from because I watched all the episodes. The one takeaway I saw was that everything is just so micromanaged, and that aspect of the Vince era has not changed. What you guys saw was like Jason Jordan and fucking Park just kind of relaying to the truck what's coming up next so they get the right camera shot. But yes, everything is very micromanaged for sure.
Yeah.
And that Travis Scott episode pissed me the fuck off, man. That was ridiculous. Antonio Taylor with a $2 super chat. Which team from SmackDown should move to Raw? I honestly, the way I'm going to answer this question is they should merge the tag team divisions and just call it a day. That would be best. Oh, this is one of my guys. Look at this. Give me back shots at JD with a 199. I am.
Yeah.
He says, I am one of yours now. Oh, no.
You asked for it.
I did ask for it. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Dubs Vids with a 499. How many ears does Captain Kirk have? 3. Left ear, right ear, and the final front ear.
Who said that?
Duffs. That's a good one, man.
Saved his best for last.
Bradley Xavier with a 5. Just saw the clip of TMZ learning about Hogan's death. The way they rushed to get the article out without any remorse is sad. Also, Vince looks like AI. He does look like AI, yes. Yes. Yeah, I saw the 2-minute clip on Twitter, man. It's just sad. You know, that they wanted to publicize that, wanted to be the first to get that out there without really even having a care in the world. But that's what publications like that do, bro. It's all about the clicks and the likes and the views. So, I will watch that hopefully tonight. Base Beers with a 2. All Brooke ever wanted to do was music. Shame, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I did hear that from Jason's podcast, man. That's fucked up. That was a fucked up story. And we got this last one. We'll end with this one. Drew McIncock with a 199. Can you guys do a taste test? Travis Scott Seltzer. He's got his own sparkling beverage?
Apparently, yes. And I am not a seltzer guy. So I really don't have any interest in partaking in that. So I will probably not.
Did you get a care package from Seagram's again? They got some new Survivor Series mixtures.
Oh, no, I did not.
And Roses with a $2 super chat. PW says talent not happy with Seth's injury angle. Yeah, we mentioned that earlier. I don't know why. It is what it is.
Look, I can understand if like LA Knight wasn't clued in.
Yeah.
And he was
or
in the match.
Goldberg was upset he had his time cut or something like that.
No, but like LA Knight, like if no one clued him in about what was going on and he thought maybe Seth really got hurt during their match and he was maybe upset about that, I can see where he would be like, what the fuck?
Yep.
So that I can understand.
Well, and with that, thank you guys very much for all of your support here on episode 107. Great show tonight, guys. Thank you very much. 1,000 likes, hits. You guys killed it in the super chats as you usually do. Thank you for the support and the laughs as always. And I will leave it to this guy to sound us off for another week here as we head into next week's 108.
Yeah, I'm surprised it took me this long, but I finally sat down the other day and I watched Sinners. Did you see this movie?
I did not.
Well, you should. It's you like vampire movies?
I don't mind them.
I think you'd enjoy this. It was a very good movie. There was a lot of hype around it, and I just never got around to seeing it. So I finally watched it, and I enjoyed it. It's probably one of my actually, it might be my favorite movie of the year so far.
Where am I seeing this?
I don't know what platforms it's on at the moment. I saw it a different way. It's not in theaters anymore.
Okay.
So it's not. You don't have to go to the theater to see it. It came out earlier this year, but seek it out. It's worth your time.
All right.
And the music in the movie also. It's not the kind of music that you enjoy. I'm not saying it's like metal or anything like that. It's like very bluesy. It's set back in the 30s, but I don't want to give too much away, but it's just really well done. And I like a good vampire movie, and this one was well done. I enjoyed the premise of it.
All right, I'll go Prime. People saying HBO Max and Prime.
HBO Max, yes.
There you go. I got that.
HBO Max.
There you go. We'll check that out. I want to check out the movie Weapons too, which looks really good. But,
yes. I'm going on Thursday to see it.
There you go. I'll wait for your review before I go watch it. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you all. Jason, appreciate you all. Thank you for a great night. We'll see you next week for episode 108 of Tuesday Night Titans. We'll see you guys later.